100,000, her father said, his voice dripping with contempt. Leave my daughter. Evan Sue, the broke college kid who ran a tiny fruit shop, just smiled. Sir, I'll give you $1 million for you to leave us alone. The man scoffed until Evan slid a phone across the table. On the screen was a stock portfolio with a 7-figure balance. To his girlfriend's disapproving father, he was a threat. To his stunningly beautiful business partner, he was a ruthless genius. To his future mother-in-law, he was the audacious scoundrel who'd accidentally drunk-dialed her to confess his love. And to the girl he'd do it all for, she just knew him as the lazy pig who needed her to buy him new shoes. They all thought they knew Evan Sue. They were all about to find out how wrong they were. It was already 8:30 by the time they left the apartment complex. Evan called a ride-sharing service, and they waited under a streetlight. Seeing Evan's cheerful expression, Victoria teased him. So, how are you going to thank me? Thank you. Yes. Do you think you could have pulled this off without me? I already bought you dinner, didn't I? Besides, why should I thank you? Evan grinned. We're partners now. When you help me, you're helping yourself. Victoria wanted to punch him, but couldn't find a reason to argue. Evan began to lay out his plan. This is just the first step. There's a lot more to do. The other partner is Leo Zhang, my roommate. He's also putting in 100,000, but I've already told him he only gets 24% of the shares. I need to maintain controlling interest in the company. Victoria stood on the curb, her hands behind her back. So, that means I got a better deal? Exactly. What's our company called? Xinya Trading Company. That's not fair. Victoria immediately protested. Why isn't my name in the company name? Adding Vi to it sounds weird. How about I make you the legal representative? Get lost. Victoria shot him a sideways glance. Don't think I don't understand. The legal rep takes all the heat if something goes wrong. Wow, you didn't fall for it. Then I want to be the head of the finance department. Evan raised an eyebrow. Aren't you a law major? Accounting and finance are our university's top programs, Victoria said proudly. My uncle told me to get an accounting certificate, so I've been taking accounting courses on the side. Evan gave her a thumbs up. Impressive, as expected from our campus queen. Don't think you're the only smart one here, Evan Sue. You can't fool me. Shouldn't we shake on it? We're partners now, after all. Is that necessary? A little ceremony is important, don't you think? Victoria considered it, then held out her hand under the lamplight. Fine. Here's to a successful venture and a happy partnership. To a happy partnership, Evan echoed, taking her hand. A long moment passed. Are you ever going to let go? Oh, sorry. Forgot. Victoria pulled her hand back, wrinkling her nose. You take every advantage you can get. You really are a scumbag. Your hand isn't as soft as my girlfriend's. Evan Sue. Hearing the murderous tone in her voice, Evan took off running. You're dead. Get back here. A gentleman uses his words, not his fists. I'm no gentleman. My phone's ringing. The car is here. That night, Evan told Leo the good news. So does that mean it's a done deal? Leo asked, excited. At least the first step is complete, Evan said. And Victoria's uncle can arrange for us to set up on the other campus too. Before bed, Evan installed the new screen mesh he'd bought for their window. Then he put on his headphones and sent a video request to Claire. She answered after about 15 seconds. Her dorm lights were still on, but she was already in bed, only half of her face visible. Why so late tonight? She asked. I was taking care of some big business, Evan said. Right now, I'm just the owner of a fruit shop. But soon, I might be the boss of a trading company. He explained the vending machine business, glossing over Victoria's involvement. Claire seemed unimpressed. Aren't you happy for me? Evan prodded. Why should I be? I'm a boss now. That makes you the boss's wife. I'm sleepy. I'm going to bed. Okay, you sleep. Don't hang up. I want to watch you and listen to your breathing as I fall asleep. Whatever you want. She placed the phone by her pillow and closed her eyes. But before she could drift off, she heard the sound of soft, rhythmic snores coming from his end. Idiot, she muttered, a smile playing on her lips. She switched the video to a voice call, put in her own earbuds, and, listening to his breathing, quickly fell asleep. Don't get too excited yet, Evan said, continuing to drive his scooter. As long as you help me with this, once it's done, I'll make you a manager in my company. Why do you need to know about the logistics director at my school? I'm expanding the vending machine business. To get them into a university, you have to go through the logistics department. Your investigation is to find the best way to approach him, if you know what I mean. I think I get it, Kevin said. Evan took Kevin back to the fruit shop. If this works out, I'll need to hire part-timers at your school to stock the machines. You'll be their boss. And when the business gets bigger, you'll be the general manager for the entire district. Did you used to work for a pyramid scheme or something? You've gotten really good at selling dreams since you started college. Evan nudged him with his hip. I'm helping you get ahead. If you don't want the job, plenty of others will. I'll do it. I never said I wouldn't. Good man, Evan said, slinging an arm around his shoulder. I'll treat you to something good for lunch. Your treat. Let's go Dutch. I have a lot of startup expenses right now. Once I'm rich, I'll treat you every day. Kevin knew Evan's family wasn't wealthy, so he didn't mind splitting the cost. Evan took him back to the same upscale steakhouse from the other night. Isn't this place expensive? Kevin asked nervously. Nah, they have a grand opening special. Evan led him inside and, without looking at the menu, told the server, 2 of the $1.99 steak set meals, please. Kevin immediately said, we agreed to go Dutch. Don't you dare try to make me pay for everything. Don't worry. 15 minutes later, they had devoured their meals. Full? Evan asked with a grin. Yep. Let's pay and go then. Evan waved the server over. Check, please. That'll be $398 total. Evan turned to his friend. Kevin, my man. You pay your $1.99 first. Kevin dutifully paid his share. Then, Evan pulled a coupon from his pocket and handed it to the server. Here's the 50% off voucher you gave me last night. Kevin stared at the coupon, a murderous rage building in his eyes. They had agreed to split the bill, and he paid his half in cash, while Evan paid his with a voucher. Evan, are you even human? What are you looking at me like that for? The total was $398. Didn't you only pay for half? To vent his frustration, Kevin took a large bag of fruit from the shop on his way out. Evan didn't stop him. It was all seasonal fruit that was cheap to buy wholesale anyway. After seeing Kevin off, Evan went to the bank to ask about student loans. The maximum was only $8,000, so he lost interest. On a whim, he asked, are there any benefits for student entrepreneurs? Yes, the Shanghai University Student Venture Capital Fund. The maximum loan is $500,000. What are the requirements? Proof of student status, a business license, and the applicant needs to have some of their own capital and a stable income. But most importantly, the clerk added, you need a guarantor. What kind of guarantor? A high-level university administrator, a prominent entrepreneur, or someone within the banking system. In short, someone with social standing. Evan's face fell. $500,000 would solve a lot of problems, but he didn't know anyone like that. Except, of course, for Claire's father. And asking the man who looked like he wanted to skin him alive for a favor was out of the question. Looks like I'll have to pull money from the stock market after all, he sighed. That evening, he messaged Victoria. Ask your uncle when we can install the machines. She replied quickly. Already did. Thursday and Friday. Meet me at the cafeteria tomorrow at noon. What for? I'm giving you the investment money. Just as he finished, 2 new messages popped up. It was from Melinda Jiang. Evan, I need to tell you something. I'm coming to Shanghai next Friday. Evan quickly replied. Auntie, I was just in the shower. Are you coming to see Claire? I'm attending a beauty expo, and I'll visit her while I'm there. My flight lands at Pudong Airport. Could you be my guide and take me to her school? Of course, Evan typed. I was planning on visiting her next week anyway. It's settled then. I'll come to your school first. And don't tell Claire. Understood. The next day at noon, Victoria was waiting at the entrance of the cafeteria. She was wearing a gray tank top under a pair of white overalls, a simple outfit that made her look tall and chic. Her presence immediately drew attention. The campus queen was waiting for someone. Who could it be? The question was answered when Evan came jogging up, waving apologetically. Sorry, my advisor needed to see me. I'm a little late. Let's go inside, she said, knowing he was the class president. Evan and Leo followed her to a corner table. Give me your bank account number, Victoria said, pulling out her phone. I'll transfer the money. There's no rush, you know. Registering the company takes time. Are you planning on cheating me? Of course not. Without your uncle, this deal wouldn't happen. We're in the same boat now. We're partners. Don't say it like that. Evan gave her his account details. Just before she confirmed the transfer, he asked, Leo and I are each putting in $100,000. How much are you putting in? I'm obviously putting in $200,000. Evan replied for himself. Victoria eyed him skeptically. Do you even have that much? Is there no basic trust between people anymore? He said with a pained expression. He had no choice but to open his stock trading app and show her. See for yourself. Victoria gasped. You have over $900,000. Evan hadn't checked his account that morning. He took the phone back and smiled. See? Believe me now. How do you have so much money? My initial capital was only around $400,000. But I keep reinvesting the profits from the fruit shop, and the market has been great lately. A few of my stocks have been hitting their daily limit repeatedly. Victoria's impression of Evan was completely overturned. He was a stock market genius at 19. After the transfer was complete, she turned to Leo. Your name is Leo Zhang, right? I need to talk to this guy alone. Could you find another seat? Leo, finding himself the third wheel for the first time in his life, sheepishly got up to get his food. Victoria then turned back to Evan. What do you want to eat? My treat. At the food counter, the campus rumor mill went into overdrive. The campus queen had been conquered by a freshman. Back at the table, Victoria asked, So, are you really good at stock trading? I'm alright. The market is basically free money right now. After a long pause, she asked, In that case, could you manage my stocks for me? Evan stopped eating. Manage them for you? You mean, trade for you? Yes, she nodded. How much do you have? 200,000. Evan was curious how she had so much money. Where did you get it? My mom left it for me, she said, her expression dimming slightly. She passed away. It was my inheritance for my dowry. My grandmother was holding it for me. Hearing this, Evan first apologized, then asked, But can you trust me with that much money? Your records are all on file at the university. I'm not afraid of you running away, but you have to promise me you won't lose any of it. He thought for a moment. All right, here's the deal. I'll manage it for you. I'll give you a fixed 5% annual interest, paid monthly. If the stocks do exceptionally well, I'll give you an extra dividend, and you can withdraw the principal at any time. That was a better deal than any bank could offer. Okay, Victoria agreed without a second's hesitation. I'll transfer the money to you now. Eat first. The food's getting cold. It's fine. Making money is more important. Ever since she went to live with her grandmother, money had become incredibly important to Victoria. She wanted to provide a comfortable life for her grandma and buy a house of her own. As for boyfriends, a hard pass. After her father married her mother's best friend a year after her mother's death, she had come to believe that all men were unreliable. She was partnering with Evan for one reason only, his business acumen. As long as she could make money, she didn't care what anyone else thought. By that afternoon, the rumor that Evan and Victoria were a couple had spread like wildfire. For the next 2 days, Evan felt the burning stares of envious and hateful guys wherever he went on campus. He didn't bother to explain, and Victoria seemed equally unconcerned. By Thursday afternoon, the business registration for Shinya Trading Co. was complete, and the vending machines were delivered from the factory. Evan, along with a team of installers, spent the entire afternoon setting up the 30-plus machines at their pre-planned locations. Then came the stocking. It was past 11 at night by the time Evan, Leo, and Frankie finished filling every machine with drinks. Exhausted, Evan lay in bed and checked his messages. 2 new chats. One from his best bro, Kevin. The other from his girlfriend, Claire. Kevin's message was a report. Our logistics director is named Zhang Bin, about 45. Drives a Volkswagen. Lives in the faculty apartments, but I heard he has another place off campus. Evan typed back. Can you find out something useful? What's useful? His weaknesses. Eating, drinking, women, gambling. See if he's into any of them. How am I supposed to find that out? Just follow him around when you have time. You want me to stalk him? It's not stalking, it's an investigation. Kevin, business is war. As long as it's not illegal, any tactic is fair game. All right, I'll try. With that settled, Evan switched to Claire's chat. Why are you up so late? She had written. Stocking inventory tonight. The vending machines are installed. They'll start making money tomorrow. I was getting sleepy. You could have gone to sleep. You didn't have to wait for me. Were you worried about me since I didn't reply? Of course not. Tomorrow's Friday. You'll see me in one more day. Are you excited? Not excited. Then I won't come. You'd better not go back on your word, or you're dead. /knife emoji/. So what should we do this weekend? Whatever. How about we go on a dating show? You be the contestant, I'll be the bachelor. You pick me, we win a 7-day trip to Hainan. La la la, I can't hear you. I'm going to sleep now. I won't see your messages. Good night, Evan sent. A minute later, a reply came. Good night. The next day, after his classes, Evan went to the fruit shop and sat in front of the computer, watching the vending machines back-end management system. The machines in the academic buildings have each sold between $60 and $90 worth of drinks so far, he mused. Sales should pick up this afternoon. The daily revenue for each machine could be between $200 to $300. Even with a 30% profit margin, that's significant. Leo added, when I went to class this morning, there was a crowd around the machines. Milk was selling really well. We'll need to hire 2 part-timers just to handle restocking. Just as they were discussing it, Victoria walked into the shop. She looked even more excited than Evan. Move over, let me see. This was, after all, her first business venture. She pushed Evan aside and sat down, her bright eyes glued to the data on the screen. Not bad, she grinned after a moment. We'll make back our investment in no time. She was right. The high foot traffic of a university, combined with the low overhead costs secured by her uncle, made it a lucrative business. So, how does it feel to be my partner? Evan asked. She shot him a disdainful look. Without me, you might not have even gotten this business off the ground. Yes. The great campus queen's contribution is unparalleled. Victoria got up. I have class this afternoon. I'm going to take a nap first. I'll be back later. You guys will be here. Yeah, we're free this afternoon, Leo said. But Evan shook his head. I might not be. I may have to go to Pudong Airport this evening. Call me if anything comes up. Get out of the car. Looking at the shop's sign, Melinda's interest was suddenly piqued. She pushed open the car door and stepped out. Evan quickly followed. Inside the shop, Leo, Frankie, and Thomas felt the immediate shift in atmosphere. They could sense the powerful, professional aura radiating from Melinda. Dressed in a beige power suit and white high heels, with a Prada bag in one hand and a Cartier watch on the other, she was an intimidating presence. Even with a faint smile on her face, her sharp, perceptive gaze made the normally boisterous boys feel like shy freshmen. Just as the silence became awkward, Victoria came running toward the shop, breathless from her sprint after class. Evan, how are we doing? Did the afternoon sales beat the morning? I saw people lining up at our machines. She stepped inside and immediately sensed the strange mood. Her eyes scanned the room and landed on Melinda. From the moment Victoria entered, Melinda's eyes had been fixed on her. A sense of unease bloomed in Melinda's chest on behalf of her daughter. She had expected a boy with Evan's personality to be popular, but she hadn't worried, confident in her own daughter's charm. But seeing this stunningly beautiful girl by Evan's side, she was caught off guard. My silly girl, she thought, is probably completely in the dark. As Melinda was thinking this, Evan was carefully observing her micro-expressions, trying to guess her thoughts. Just as she was about to turn and interrogate him, Evan stepped forward, casually draping an arm over her shoulder. With a playful grin, he announced to everyone in the shop, "Let me introduce you all. This is my future mother-in-law." Everyone froze. No one expected him to introduce her like that. Future mother-in-law? You've got some nerve, Evan Sue. Melinda herself was taken aback, but the slight furrow in her brow smoothed out, and her faint smile returned. She didn't scold him for his cheeky remark. Instead, she looked at Victoria and asked, "Evan, is this one of your classmates?" "This is Victoria Jiang," Evan explained. "She, Leo, and I are partners in a new trading company we started. We specialize in the vending machine business. I haven't had a chance to tell you yet." Melinda was even more surprised. Starting a fruit shop as a freshman was impressive enough, but a trading company? This kid was on another level. Victoria, being incredibly sharp, had already noticed the hint of suspicion in Melinda's eyes. After Evan's introduction, she stepped forward. "Auntie, you're Evan's girlfriend's mother?" "That's right," Evan confirmed. "Auntie, you look so young," Victoria said sweetly. Melinda smiled back. "Your last name is Jiang, and so is mine. It seems we're destined to meet." After a few more pleasantries, Melinda said, "Evan, it's getting late. We should go." Evan nodded, gave his roommates a few instructions, grabbed a change of clothes from his dorm, and got back in the Audi with Melinda, heading towards the Shanghai Conservatory of Music. On the elevated highway, Melinda broke the silence. "Why are you in such a hurry to start so many businesses as a freshman?" Her question was a test. "To make money, of course. So what do you think is more important, your career or your family?" "I think a career provides the financial foundation for a family. You work hard for your family. So if I had to choose, family is more important. But a career often takes up most of your time, leaving no time for family. That's why I started my own businesses," Evan said with a smile. "When you're the boss, you can decide when you want to work." Melinda was momentarily speechless, a small, impressed smile touching her lips. The rest of the ride was quiet. Evan took out his phone and messaged Claire. "On my way." "How much longer?" "About 20 more minutes." "Okay, I'm going to wash my hair. Call me when you get here." 20 minutes later, the Audi pulled up directly in front of the women's dormitory at the conservatory. Melinda stayed in the car, wanting to see her daughter's interaction with Evan and give her a surprise. The moment her phone rang, Claire, who was in the middle of blow-drying her hair, dropped everything and ran out of the dorm. Her roommates were used to it. "Look how eager she is." "It must be Evan," Victoria Zhang said, drawing her eyebrows in the mirror. Claire ran downstairs and saw Evan standing there, smiling foolishly. She walked up to him, tilting her head back. "How did you get here so fast? My hair isn't even dry." "I told you, 20 minutes, he said with a shrug. "Let's go eat first. My roommates and I found this amazing noodle soup place this week." "Shouldn't you dry your hair first?" "The wind will dry it. We're not in a rush." Seeing him fuss, Claire rolled her eyes, placed her hand on his back, and pushed him forward. Let's go, stop talking nonsense. I'm starving." In the car, Melinda watched the scene unfold, her expression stunned, her mind reeling. Is this still my daughter?" "Actually, I didn't come alone today," Evan said. Before he could explain, the Audi's door opened. Melinda stepped out, forcing a smile as she called, "Claire." Claire froze, pulling her hand away from Evan's and taking 2 steps back. "Mom," she mumbled, "what are you doing here?" "I'm here on a business trip and wanted to see you," Melinda said brightly. "Where were you two going?" Too embarrassed to answer, Claire fell silent. Evan stepped in. "She found a good noodle shop and was going to take me there." "Well then, get in the car. Let's all go together." In the car, Evan wisely took the front passenger seat. Melinda gently tied Claire's damp hair back with her own hair tie. "It's getting colder in Shanghai. You have to dry your hair properly after washing it." She continued with a series of motherly instructions, to which Claire only responded with quiet hums, reverting to the reserved daughter she was at home. At the noodle shop, the atmosphere was tense. Evan and Claire ordered while Melinda waited at the table. The mother and daughter ate with the same elegant, unhurried movements, a stark contrast to Evan slurping his noodles beside them. After finishing, Evan openly stared at Claire, right in front of her mother. Claire could feel his gaze but, with her mother present, could only pretend not to notice. From the restaurant, Melinda took them to a 5-star hotel near the university called the Mansion Hotel. Knowing her daughter's habits, she had booked 3 separate suites on the same floor. Evan, sensing they needed time to talk, took his key card and discreetly went to his room. He was scrolling through his social media feeds when a message from Kevin came in. "I've got something. Director Zhang Bin has more than one apartment." After dinner with some other university staff, he drove alone to this complex. A picture followed. "Why didn't you follow him inside?" Evan typed back. I didn't dare. You idiot, he doesn't know you. What are you afraid of? So his wife and kids don't live there, right? Right. Then get in there now. Find his car and wait downstairs. I bet he's keeping a mistress there. He won't stay the night. He'll leave by 10 at the latest. If I'm right, get some pictures. While texting Kevin, Evan sent him another message. I'm at a hotel with my girlfriend, getting a room. Kevin's replies were a series of stunned question marks. In the room next door, Melinda was having a talk with her daughter. Claire, I went to Evan's university this afternoon. He opened a fruit shop. Did you know what it's called? I know, Claire said, her fingers twisting the hem of her shirt. And besides the shop, he's also started a vending machine business. I know that too. Then did you know, Melinda said with a smile, that one of his business partners is a very beautiful young woman? Claire fell silent. Evan hadn't mentioned that. And for her mother, who worked with models in the beauty industry, to call someone beautiful meant she was truly stunning. Why hadn't Evan told her? Melinda saw the look on her daughter's face and continued softly. I already checked for you. They're just friends and business partners. And that girl knows he's dating you. Claire's face flushed. What? Dating? We're not. What are you talking about? Melinda was confused. If they weren't dating, why did Evan call her his mother-in-law? But all of Evan's friends and roommates know he has a girlfriend, she said, remembering. And I saw him using your photo as his phone's lock screen in the car. Claire looked down, her face crimson, muttering, that jerk. I never even agreed. And he's telling everyone. Melinda understood immediately. Whether they had officially confirmed their relationship or not was irrelevant. Evan already held a very important place in her daughter's heart. She knew what it was like to be in love. I'm not like your father. I won't interfere. But remember, just because someone likes you, don't take their affection for granted. All relationships require effort from both sides. With that, Claire grabbed her key card and, face burning, fled to her own room, where a message from Evan was waiting. Are you guys done talking? There's a cat on my window ledge that can do a backflip. Want to come see? Of course, Claire knew Evan was lying. His room was on the 17th floor. There was no cat. But she hesitated. She wanted to ask him if he had really told everyone she was his girlfriend. Glancing at her mother's closed door, she walked to Evan's room and sent a text. Open the door. Evan quickly opened it. Seeing her stern expression, he smiled sheepishly. She slipped inside, and as soon as the door was closed, she pointed a finger at him. Did you or did you not tell everyone I'm your girlfriend? Evan blinked, then nodded. Yeah, I did. You're shameless. But Evan, ever the smooth talker, had a ready excuse. You have no idea. Our university has way more girls than guys. I was getting hit on the first day of class. If I didn't say I had a girlfriend, the line of girls chasing me would stretch from my dorm to the university gate. Claire was speechless. The whole reason she had agreed to let him pretend in the first place was to avoid harassment. Now he was using the same logic against her. Well, I still haven't said yes, she mumbled, turning her head away. So when are you planning to? Evan asked with a grin. I don't know, she said, trying to sound nonchalant, though her heart was pounding. Evan didn't push. He just pointed towards the bedroom. There's a hairdryer on the vanity. Want to dry your hair first? She hesitated, then walked into the bedroom. As she sat down and took the hair tie out, her long, dark hair cascaded over her shoulders. Before she could grab the hairdryer, Evan picked it up. I'll do it for you. I can do it myself, she protested weakly, but he insisted. It's fine, I'm a pro. As the warm air blew, the scent of her lavender shampoo filled the room. When he was done, he gently ruffled her hair with his hand. All dry, he said softly. Claire's face was burning. Each accidental brush of his fingers against her skin had sent a jolt through her, a sensation she was almost getting used to. Just then, the doorbell rang. They both jumped. It had to be her mother. What do we do now? Claire's panicked eyes asked. Evan gulped. I don't know. Her look intensified. You'd better think of something, or you're dead. Okay. Hide in the bathroom. I'll handle it. She won't stay long. As the bell rang again, Claire scrambled into the bathroom. Evan smoothed down his shirt, took a deep breath, and opened the door. It was Melinda. Auntie, you needed something? He asked with a forced smile. She stepped inside, and her brow furrowed for a split second before she smoothed her expression. I have to leave early tomorrow morning for work. I'll have the hotel extend the stay for this room. Can you explain to Claire for me in the morning? No problem. It's getting colder at the end of the month. Remind Claire to wear more layers. She'll just think I'm nagging if I say it. Okay, I'll definitely tell her. What time do you usually go to bed? Sorry, she repeated. What time do you usually go to bed? Oh, around 11. Don't stay up too late. It's not good for girls to lose sleep. Girls? Evan caught the hidden meaning and quickly replied, I understand. I'll try not to chat with Claire too late from now on. Melinda smiled, pleased that he understood. What are your plans for tomorrow? Not sure yet. It doesn't really matter where we go. It's who you're with that counts. Don't just rely on sweet talk. My daughter isn't a fool you can win over with a few clever lines. From inside the bathroom, Claire could hear their entire conversation, her cheeks growing hotter by the second. All right, get some sleep, Melinda said, turning to leave. As Evan was about to close the door, she stopped him, her smile gone. In a low voice, she asked, "Is Claire in your room?" Evan's heart sank. "Auntie, how did you know?" "Your room smells exactly like my daughter," Melinda said calmly. "The moment I walked in, I smelled her shampoo. We were just talking. She hid in the bathroom because she was afraid you'd misunderstand. We didn't do anything." "Evan," Melinda's voice was soft but firm. "I can continue to trust you, right?" "Yes," Evan nodded emphatically. Melinda gave a small, meaningful smile and returned to her room. Evan let out a long, shaky breath. "I knew we shouldn't have had her hide," he muttered to himself. "We didn't even do anything, but it feels exactly like we got caught. This sucks." Evan knocked on the bathroom door. "She's gone." Claire emerged, her face still flushed, and made a beeline for the door to her own room. "Hey," Evan started. She paused. "Good night," he said softly. The word, which felt so casual over text, felt intensely intimate spoken aloud. Her whole body felt hot. She rushed to the door and, just before closing it, whispered a quick good night back. In her own room, she leaned against the door, her heart hammering in her chest. She didn't know that in the room next door, Melinda had been listening through a crack in her own door, only closing it completely after she heard Claire's door shut. It wasn't that she didn't trust Evan. She just knew what it was like to be young. But Evan had passed the test. Melinda left early the next morning. Evan, enjoying the luxury of a king-sized hotel bed, slept in until 9:30. Claire, however, had been up since 8, bombarding him with texts. "Are you up? It's past 8. Question mark. Get up. Lazy pig. If you don't get up, I'm going back to school. You're lazy and dumb and I hate you." Waking up to the barrage of messages, Evan sat up and sent a voice note. "Hey, I just woke up. Come over to my room and wait. I'll be ready in a minute." He left the door ajar and rushed to the bathroom. Claire, deciding it was less awkward in the daylight, went over. "Lazy pig, where are you?" Evan poked his head out of the bathroom. "Give me 5 minutes to brush my teeth and wash my face." She sat on the sofa. She'd changed her hairstyle to a high ponytail, which gave her a different look. When Evan came out, ready for breakfast, she ordered, "Go wash your hair." "Huh, your hair looks like a bird's nest. It's ugly." He sheepishly returned to the bathroom. 10 minutes later, they were finally leaving the hotel. "Where are we going today?" Claire asked. "Haven't decided yet. Sophia messaged me this morning. She said they're going to the Shanghai Museum. Do you want to go with them?" She didn't nod or shake her head, just said, "I don't know." "Well, since we don't have a plan, let's join them. We can have our own date tomorrow." Before the words were even out of his mouth, he felt the killing intent from beside him. Claire raised her foot to stomp on his, and he jumped back, pleading, "I was wrong, I was wrong." She shot him a dirty look and started walking towards the subway station, calling her roommates. Soon, the two groups met up. The moment she saw them, Victoria Zhang said with a knowing grin, "Claire, you didn't come back to the dorm last night. What kind of trouble did you get into?" "My mom was in town, so I stayed at a hotel with her," Claire explained quickly. "Really?" Victoria looked pointedly at Evan. "I thought you got tricked into a hotel room by a certain someone." Evan, completely shameless, retorted, "You seem to know a lot about this, Victoria." They all boarded the train, and Evan pulled Claire down into a seat before she could fully react. The museum visit was brief. Evan wasn't interested and just tagged along. But as they came out, a light drizzle had begun. Only Sophia had an umbrella. "What do we do now?" "The rain seems to be getting heavier," Jessica said. "The rain is still light. You three should head for the subway now," Evan said decisively. "What about you two?" "Don't worry about us, just go." The three girls huddled under the single umbrella and left. Evan took off his jacket, held it over his head like a makeshift roof, and said, "Come on, the subway is only half a mile away. We'll get there quickly." The image reminded Claire of a scene from a romance comic. She shyly moved closer, and Evan put an arm around her, pulling her under the shelter of his jacket as they walked into the rain. He shielded her as best he could, but the wind still blew droplets onto her arms and legs. She didn't mind the cool sensation. "Watch your step," he murmured. "It's really getting colder. Make sure you take a hot shower when you get back so you don't catch a cold." They finally reached the subway entrance. Evan wrung out his soaked jacket, and only then did Claire notice that half of his body was drenched, while she was barely wet. She took a tissue from her bag and, standing on her toes, gently wiped the dripping water from his forehead. As he looked down at her, her hand froze in midair. He grinned. "If you had already agreed to be my girlfriend, I would have kissed you right then." Claire snatched her hand back, shoved the entire pack of tissues into his hand, and hurried into the station, her face burning. The subway wasn't crowded due to the rain, and they easily found seats. Claire sat down, and Evan sat right next to her. She scooted away, and he scooted closer. She moved again, and he followed, until she was cornered. "Are you cold?" he asked. "No." "Good, because I am." He let out a theatrical sneeze. Claire glanced at his damp hair and soaked clothes and silently handed him 2 more tissues. A few minutes into the ride, Claire got a text from Sophia. "Are you guys back yet?" "On the subway now," Claire replied. "We just got back to the dorm, but there's no hot water. What are you going to do?" "I don't know. The dorm manager has no idea when it'll be back on." Evan, who had been reading over her shoulder, suggested. Why don't you have them come to the hotel to take a hot shower? My room is still booked. They probably all got a little wet sharing one umbrella, and it's easy to get sick in this weather. It was a sensible idea, and, Claire thought, if her roommates were there, it would prevent any awkwardness of being alone with Evan. She sent the hotel address to Sophia. Evan is still staying at the hotel. Bring a change of clothes and meet us there. And can you grab a clean outfit for me from the closet? On it, Sophia replied. Soon, the 5 of them were gathered in Evan's hotel room. The 2 receptionists downstairs watched in amazement as one guy brought 4 girls up to his room. Evan, you look like a drowned rat, Victoria commented. The traffic was bad, so we took the subway. Then how is Claire so dry? I used my jacket to block the rain for her, he said proudly. Ah, the girls cooed. Claire, embarrassed, walked toward the elevator. Evan gestured for the others to follow. Jessica was about to head into the bathroom to shower first when Claire looked at Evan's drenched state and said softly, Jessica, let him go first. He's soaked. Oh, right, Jessica said, stepping aside. Evan smiled and disappeared into the bathroom. He was quick. When he came out, he used the hairdryer in the living room to avoid any awkwardness. While he was drying his hair, Victoria suddenly clutched her stomach. Ugh, the cramps are starting again. What's wrong? Evan asked. Period cramps, she grumbled. Oh, cramps, Evan said casually. Well, what can you do? Victoria shot him a dirty look and complained to Claire. See what he's like. Claire just stayed silent. My period is usually around the same time as Claire's, Victoria added pointedly. Let's see if you say the same thing when she's in pain. Of course not. Evan laughed, making a mental note of the date. After drying his hair, he sat on the floor, as the 3 girls had taken over the sofa. So, are we heading back soon? Sophia asked. It's the weekend, what's the rush? Victoria said. Let's play cards. Does anyone have a deck? 3 pairs of eyes turned to Evan. Fine, he sighed, getting up. As he was about to pay for the deck of cards at the store, he remembered what Victoria had said. Hey, do you sell brown sugar here? He asked the clerk. No, but the pharmacy next door sells that instant brown sugar ginger tea. Great, thanks. Evan bought a box of the tea and headed back to the hotel. He tossed the cards on the coffee table, then placed the box of ginger tea in front of Claire and Victoria. Victoria, this isn't for you, he declared. You're just benefiting from my girlfriend's good fortune today. Victoria's jaw dropped, then she beamed. I know. Wow, Evan, my opinion of you just shot way up. I didn't know you could be so thoughtful. Well, I am a very thoughtful person. Claire's cheeks were bright red, because he had called her his girlfriend again. A3, A10, Ace, I win. Claire and Sophia didn't know how to play cards, so they sat on the sidelines and watched. She triumphantly tore up pieces of tissue to stick on Evan's and Jessica's faces as the penalty. You 2 have to join in, she told the onlookers. But we don't know how, Sophia said. Then just bet on a player. If your player loses, you get a penalty too. Sophia chose to back Victoria. Before Claire could answer, Evan took the paper from his own forehead and gently stuck it onto hers. She's on my team, obviously. So the game continued, with Claire now sitting next to Evan. As she watched him play, she found herself mesmerized by his hands, the long, slender fingers and distinct knuckles. A full house. I win again, Evan declared, snapping her out of her trance. Amazing, she mumbled, quickly looking down and taking a nervous sip of her ginger tea. Half an hour later, all 5 of them had faces covered in paper strips. Around 9 o'clock, Evan's phone buzzed. It was a message from Kevin. Holy crap, Evan. You were right. Director Zhang Bin is totally cheating on his wife. He was out shopping with his mistress this afternoon. 5 secretly taken photos were attached. Nice work, Evan replied. I got soaked in the rain following him. I think I'm getting sick. Take a hot shower and get some sleep. You at the hotel with those 4 girls, playing cards? Kevin asked after receiving the group photo. Yep. When are you going to introduce me? I like all of them. We'll see. Bro, dude, dad. As it got late, the girls decided to head back to the dorm. As Claire was putting on her shoes, Victoria teased. Are you really leaving? You're going to make Evan spend the night all alone. It's fine. I'm used to it. Evan sighed dramatically. Come back and play again tomorrow, ladies. Claire's face was red, but she didn't know how to respond, so she just pretended to be busy tying her shoelaces. As she bent down, however, she noticed Evan's shoes were still soaked through from the rain. She subtly placed her own foot next to his, comparing the sizes, before quickly standing up and leaving with her friends. Evan had intended to walk them out, but Claire shut the door in his face. He spent the night at the hotel. The next morning, he woke up and texted Claire, but she didn't reply for a long time. Figuring she was getting revenge for him sleeping in the day before, he sent a flurry of messages. Why aren't you answering? It's almost 9. I'm bored. Answer me. I miss you, Claire. She saw every message but deliberately ignored them. She was busy. Only when his texts got progressively more sappy did she finally reply. I'm busy. Shut up for a bit. Okay. Claire was walking through a mall. She went straight to the Nike store. Hi, welcome. Looking for a pair of shoes? A sales associate greeted her. Claire nodded. Take a look around and see what you like. Claire walked over to a shelf and pointed to a pair of classic, all-white sneakers. I'll take these. The Air Force ones are really popular with college students. We might not have your size. Are you a 6, 7, or 8? Claire knelt down and used her thumb and index finger to measure a length against her own shoe. I need them in this size. The sales associate was confused. After a moment, she asked, You're not buying shoes for yourself? Claire nodded. The associate smiled. Oh, you're buying them for your boyfriend. Size 9 is the most common for guys. Let me grab one for you to compare. Claire started to correct her, then stopped. She'd never see this person again, so she let it go. Does this size look about right? The associate placed the shoe on the floor. Claire put her own foot next to it and measured with her hand. Close enough. Should I wrap them up for you? Yes, please. After buying the shoes, Claire picked out a pair of socks for herself. That way, she could tell Evan, I went out to buy socks and just happened to buy you a pair of shoes. Back at the hotel, the doorbell rang. Evan sprang up from the sofa and opened the door. Seeing Claire, he grinned. I've been waiting for you. What were you busy with all morning? She ignored him, squeezed past, and put the bag on the coffee table before sitting on the sofa in pointed silence. Evan looked from her to the bag, then picked it up. When she didn't object, he took out the shoebox. It was his size. Are these for me? Claire feigned nonchalance. I saw your shoes were wet, so I bought you a pair on the way. Of course not. She jumped up, flustered. I went to buy socks, and I just happened to buy these shoes too. Evan had heard of people buying socks with shoes, but never the other way around. He knew it was an excuse, but he didn't call her out on it. He tried on the shoes. They fit perfectly. How did you know my size? I just guessed, she said, looking away. Checkout is at noon, Evan said, pointing to his backpack. I'll head back after lunch. She just said, Oh, the weather report says it's going to keep raining and getting colder. Remember to wear more clothes. You're so naggy. Let's go eat. I'll get out of your hair after that. At a nearby fast food restaurant, Claire had little appetite and pushed half of her meal into Evan's bowl. Not hungry. No. He passed her the soup. The soup is hot. Drink more of that, and stay away from spicy and cold things. The gesture reminded her of the ginger tea from the night before. She looked up and found him watching her, and she immediately started sipping her soup. Later, at the subway entrance, Evan told her, Call me if you miss me. I won't. Then I'll call you. He checked the weather on his phone. It's supposed to rain heavily at 3. I should get going. Okay. He walked a few steps, then turned back to see her standing there motionless. He strode back and, without a word, wrapped her in a hug. You. She struggled for a moment, pushing against his chest, but he held firm. She finally relaxed into the embrace. I'm leaving, he whispered in her ear, then let go and stepped onto the escalator, slowly disappearing from view. Claire stood there, her ears burning. She stomped her foot lightly and muttered, Jerk. Always taking advantage of me. On the way back to her dorm, she felt an odd emptiness, as if something was missing. She'd forgotten to ask if he was coming next week. And she'd forgotten to ask about that female business partner. Even if he were still here, she knew she wouldn't have had the courage to ask. Maybe, she thought, I should go visit him next weekend. The rain continued into the evening. Not wanting to get his new shoes wet, Evan changed into his old pair before running back to the dorm. At the dorm, Frankie immediately asked, Evan, was that really your girlfriend's mom at the shop on Friday? Yep. How old is your mother-in-law? Why are you asking? She has a lot of class. Is she single? Evan threw a towel at him. If she was single, where would my girlfriend come from? Get lost. Are you trying to become my stepdad? Frankie just giggled. After a quick shower, Evan was washing his clothes when he asked Leo, How were the vending machine sales this weekend? Not bad. The ones in the academic buildings were slow, but the library, student center, and gym were selling really well. Frankie and I had to restock them twice. Good, Evan nodded. Tomorrow, let's get Victoria to talk to her uncle. We need to get our machines into the Songjiang campus before the end of the month. Leo voiced his concern. What's the plan after that? We can't just rely on her connections to get into 2 campuses and then stop. Evan already had a plan. This week, I'm going to the University of Applied Technology to talk to their logistics director. And you're not off the hook. The second Polytechnic University is close by. I want you to go there and feel them out. Just then, Ethan Zhang, the class vice president, knocked on their door. Evan, the university sports meet is in 2 weeks. The advisor wants us to handle the class signups. I was just in the shower, Evan said smoothly. I might be busy next week. How about you take the lead on this? Ethan, seeing it as a chance to shine, readily agreed. As he was leaving, he turned back. By the way, when you say good job, that's usually what a superior says to a subordinate. Evan, not expecting the comment, just waved a hand. Right. You can go now. Ethan left, even more confused than before. Monday morning, for Claire, was the beginning of the 3 hardest days of the week. Thursday and Friday were bearable because the weekend, and Evan, was just around the corner. In class, she found herself opening her chat with Evan, staring at the cursor, but not knowing what to type. She switched to her social media feed. The latest post was from Evan, uploaded the previous evening. The caption read, "A gift from my girlfriend, ha." Below it was a picture of the all-white sneakers she had bought him. Claire's heart jumped. Below the picture were comments from her roommates, and a like from her own mother. Her face burning, she switched back to her chat. "Delete that post you made yesterday. Now." Evan, who was in the cafeteria, replied innocently, "Why?" "Just delete it. Don't worry, I blocked your mom from seeing it." "You liar. I can see she liked it." Evan had forgotten about mutual friends. "Well, she's already liked it. It's too late to delete it now. Shameless, perverted bastard. I'm not talking to you anymore." Evan just smiled. His mother-in-law comment on Friday had been a test, and Melinda's silence was a clear sign of her tacit approval. So, he hadn't seen the need to hide the post from her. He typed back, "I was wrong. Forgive me." "No, I'll kowtow to you. Go ahead. I did it. I didn't see it. Record a video." "Claire," he typed, "you've become mischievous. But I love it." That night, after taking Victoria back to her dorm, her uncle, Peter, called his brother, Charles. Charles answered immediately, expecting news about his daughter. "I just saw Vivi," Peter said. "She and 2 classmates are starting a vending machine business and want to expand. I've already agreed to help. Is it a safe investment?" Charles asked, concerned. "It seems to be. The machines are very popular at the university. 300,000 is not a small amount," Charles mused. 300,000. Peter was confused. "Vivi told me she only invested 100,000. Charles was equally puzzled. "Only 100,000. Her other partner. What's his name? I'd like to meet him." "Evan Sue," Peter replied. "A freshman in the finance department. The kid has a real head for business. Opened a fruit shop as soon as he got here. I'll send you a picture of the place." "Good. I'll go see him." Meanwhile, at Claire's Fruits, Evan was tallying the day's sales. The numbers from the 30-plus vending machines were exciting. 7,612, he announced. "The average daily revenue per machine is around 250. After costs, our net profit for today is about 3,000. Victoria, sitting beside him, was ecstatic. "I have a 25% share. That means I made $750 today." "You could say that," Evan grinned. "And once we get into the Songjiang campus next week, you can double that. Then for every new university we get into, add another 750. Victoria was so happy she could have jumped for joy. She left in high spirits, her mind filled with dreams of buying her own apartment. After she left, Evan continued with the accounts, transferring the day's profits into his stock trading account. The bull market was just beginning, and he wasn't going to miss the opportunity. As they were closing up, Leo handed him a stack of newly printed business cards. They were simple and elegant. "Founder of Shinya Trading Co., Evan Sue. You'll need these for your meeting tomorrow," Leo said. Back at the dorm, Evan was the first to shower, eager to video chat with Claire. "You look tired," he said when she answered. "A little. Then you should get some sleep. Your mom specifically told me not to keep you up. Why do you listen to my mom so much?" "How could I not?" "Okay, then who do you listen to more, me or my mom? You can only pick one." "You," he said without hesitation. "Of course, I listen to you." She pouted, pleased with his answer. After a bit of small talk, he started asking a series of random questions. "Do you like dogs?" "I like cats." "Do you have any thoughts on Van Gogh's Starry Night?" "No." "What's your take on the Mona Lisa's smile?" "What are you trying to say?" she asked, exasperated. "Let me see your legs." Suddenly, her roommates, who she thought weren't listening, burst out laughing. Claire pulled the blanket up to her eyes, glaring at the screen. "No way. Get lost. Evan, video call me. I'll show you mine." Victoria shouted playfully from the background. Evan just laughed, which only made Claire more flustered. She pulled the phone under the covers and whispered fiercely, "If you dare look, you're dead." All right, I get it," he said. "Go to sleep," she ordered. "So suddenly? What else do you want?" "Put the phone up to your face." "Why?" "Just do it." She complied. Then, Evan raised his arm to the microphone and made a loud kissing sound. Claire's eyes went wide, and her face turned crimson. Despite the dropping temperature outside, Claire felt like she was burning up. She quickly ended the video call and buried herself under the covers, trying to calm her racing heart. Meanwhile, in the men's dorm, Frankie was diligently typing up everything Evan had just said, titling the note, "The Love Bible." Tuesday morning, Evan slept through both of his math-related classes. The lectures were more effective than any lullaby. As he arrived at the cafeteria for lunch, he got a call from Evelyn. "Evan, someone's here at the shop looking for you." "Who is it?" "I don't know. An older man." "An uncle?" Evan was puzzled. "Tell him to wait. I'll be there after I eat." 20 minutes later, Evan arrived at the shop and saw a man in a formal suit, with graying hair and thick glasses, looking weary, like a university professor. The man stood up and extended a hand. "Hello, I'm Victoria Zhang's father." "Victoria's father? That bastard." "Mr. Zhang," Evan said, shaking his hand. "What can I do for you?" "I'd just like to have a chat, if you have a moment." "Of course." Evan suggested they go somewhere else to talk. They got into the man's Volkswagen Phaeton and drove off campus. "Has Vivi mentioned me?" Charles Zhang asked. Yes. What did she say? Not much, Evan answered honestly. But she seems to hate you. A pained smile crossed Charles's face. I have wronged her, it's true. But I have always loved her and her mother. There's just been a terrible misunderstanding. Evan didn't want to get involved in family drama. Mr. Jiang, you must have a reason for seeking me out today. You can be direct with me. Charles nodded. The vending machine business. How much did Vivi really invest? 100,000. As far as I know, she has 300,000. The other 200,000 is with me as well, Evan admitted. She asked me to manage it for her in the stock market. I promised her interest and dividends. The stock market? Yes. If you're not comfortable with it, I can return the money to her. No, leave it for now, Charles said. And please don't tell her I came to see you today. He then inquired about the business. Evan explained their current profits and future plans. The vending machine is the way of the future, Charles said thoughtfully. Others will notice this industry soon, and you will face immense competition. You must expand quickly. I know, but we don't have the connections, so. My name is Charles Jiang, the man said, dropping a bombshell. I am the Vice Dean of the School of Economics at Fudan University. The Vice President in charge of administration is a colleague of mine. Also, the Vice President of the Shanghai University of Finance and Economics is a former classmate. I can help you make the connections at both universities. Evan's heart hammered in his chest. He thought the man was just a professor, not a vice dean at one of the top universities in the country. He had thought Victoria's uncle was her big connection, but her father was on another level entirely. I'm doing all of this for my daughter, Charles said, his voice heavy. If Vivi runs into any trouble in the future, I hope you will let me know immediately. Absolutely. After dropping Evan off, Charles drove away. Evan felt like he was floating. I've hit the jackpot, he thought to himself. Back at the shop, he saw Victoria looking at the sales data. He suppressed his excitement and handed her a box of cut watermelon with a sycophantic smile. Have some watermelon, campus queen. Victoria looked up, confused. Why are you being so nice today? Did the sun rise in the west? What do you mean? I'm always this nice. She rolled her eyes, grabbed the watermelon, and left. On her way back to the dorm, she got a video call from her grandmother. A kind, elderly face appeared on the screen, followed by the chubby, cheerful face of her younger cousin, Henry. Look, Grandma, my friend gave me this watermelon. It's so sweet, Victoria said, her laughter echoing as she teased her cousin. Seeing her so happy, her grandmother's face creased into a warm, loving smile. Chapter 111. Kevin stood at the school gate, impatiently checking his phone. It was getting dark early now, and at 5:30, it already felt like night. Hey, sorry I'm late, Evan said, jogging up. Can you stop calling me that? Kevin grumbled. Evan slung an arm around his friend's shoulder as they walked onto campus. It's a habit. Anyway, let's get down to business. Do you know where Director Zhongbin's office is? I do. I'll take you. No, Evan stopped him. I'll go alone. You shouldn't be involved. What? I do all the prep work, and now you're cutting me out. Don't be an idiot, Evan explained. We have leverage on him because of his affair. If you go with me, he might hold a grudge against you later. It's better if he doesn't know you're involved. Kevin saw his point. All right. His office is on the 3rd floor, 3rd door on the left. Evan found the office and knocked. A gruff "come in" answered. Evan walked in, smiling cheerfully. Zhongbin glanced up from his desk, annoyed at the interruption. What is it? Evan handed him a business card. Director Zhang, my name is Evan Su. I'm the founder of Shinya Trading Co. I'm here to discuss a potential university business partnership. Evan believed in being polite first, then playing hardball. Laying all his cards on the table from the start would leave no room for negotiation. Zhongbin looked at the card, then at the young man in front of him, slightly more interested. Started your own business at such a young age? Just a small venture. Evan gave him the same pitch he had given Director Jiang, but Zhongbin seemed unimpressed. Which universities have you partnered with before? We already have our vending machines on both campuses of the School of Finance, Evan said, adding a strategic bluff. And we're currently in talks with Fudan University and the Shanghai University of Finance and Economics. The mention of the two prestigious universities finally caught Zhongbin's attention. He assumed Evan was just a frontman for someone with powerful connections. Evan then placed 3 cartons of expensive cigarettes on the desk. I was in a bit of a rush and didn't know what you liked, Director Zhang. I hope you don't mind. Zhongbin glanced at the cigarettes with disdain. He was used to receiving much more valuable gifts. His expression clearly said, "Is this all you've got?" Evan read his expression and added, "If you have time, Director Zhang, perhaps we could have dinner together?" I'm busy tonight, Zhongbin said, brushing him off. Add me on WhatsApp. We can talk tomorrow. After Evan left, Zhongbin tossed the business card in a drawer, stuffed the cigarettes into his briefcase, and left the office. He drove not home, but to his mistress's apartment, texting his wife that he'd be home late from work. At dinner, Evan recounted the meeting to Kevin. I have a feeling Director Zhang has a big appetite, he said with a cynical smile. One meal won't be enough to satisfy him. What if he makes an unreasonable demand? Kevin asked. Then I won't agree, Evan said flatly. If my interests aren't protected, I have no problem turning this ugly. I have nothing to lose. As they ate, Kevin suddenly remembered something. Hey, my birthday is in 3 days. Isn't your dad's birthday around this time too? Evan almost forgot. He quickly pulled out his phone and sent a message to his father. Dad, happy birthday. His father, who'd had a terrible day at work and had his secret stash of cash confiscated by his wife, was in no mood. Happy my ass. I have no money. What's there to be happy about? I just sent you a transfer through Alipay. Evan typed. His father's tone changed instantly. Good son. I miss you. When are you coming home? Hey, I don't see any money in my Alipay. Oh, Evan replied. I don't have you as a contact, so I sent it to mom. So it really is happy your ass, his father typed back furiously. You ungrateful brat. Chapter 112. Director Zhang Bin was enjoying his life. He had a cushy job, a stable family, and a young mistress to spice things up. It was, in his eyes, the perfect setup. That evening, he was supposed to have dinner with Evan, but he decided to bring along his cousin and 2 freeloading friends, turning a business dinner for 2 into a party of 5 at Evan's expense. When they arrived late at the high-end restaurant, Evan, who had only ordered 6 dishes, had to grit his teeth and add more food. The meal itself was a lesson in frustration. Every time Evan tried to steer the conversation toward the vending machine business, Zhang Bin would skillfully deflect. I know. Let me do a little research, and I'll get back to you. Come on, let's drink. The bill came to nearly 2,000, a fortune for a college student at the time. Evan paid, his heart aching. The next day, Zhang Bin sent a message. If you're free tonight, we can talk about the profit sharing. Profit sharing? That evening, Zhang Bin laid out his terms. I can get you the lowest rates for the site and electricity fees, but I want 30% of your total sales as a commission. 30% of total sales. Evan almost jumped out of his seat. Director, our profit margins aren't that high. After factoring in machine depreciation, inventory, and labor costs, if you take 30% of the gross, there will be nothing left for me. Zhang Bin was adamant. There will still be plenty to earn. Young people shouldn't be so greedy. Evan tried to negotiate, his tone respectful, almost pleading. But Zhang Bin wouldn't budge. It's non-negotiable. Evan sat in silence, watching the director eat and drink, a storm brewing inside him. Finally, his face dark, he stood up. Director Zhang, it seems we can't reach an agreement tonight. As he walked out of the restaurant, he opened his phone, sent all the photos of Zhang Bin and his mistress to the director, and then promptly deleted him as a contact. Back in the private room, Zhang Bin's phone buzzed. He saw the photos and froze, as if struck by lightning. He furiously typed a message back, only to find it wouldn't send. He'd been blocked. Bastard, he roared, smashing his glass on the floor. He frantically dialed Evan's number, but all he heard was a cold, automated voice. The number you have dialed is currently unavailable. Please try again later. Evan returned to his dorm, chatted with Claire for half an hour, and slept soundly. Zhang Bin, however, didn't sleep a wink. If his affair was exposed, he would lose everything. His family, his job, his reputation. The next morning, he rushed to his office, found Evan's business card, and sent a friend request. It was accepted half an hour later. Zhang Bin typed furiously. You little bastard, you set me up? But then he remembered Evan's cold efficiency and deleted the message, rewriting it. What do you want? Evan's reply was swift. I treat people how they treat me. Since you treated me like a fool, I had to resort to some underhanded tactics. Cut the crap and delete the photos. You think I'll delete them just because you say so? Who do you think you are? Zhang Bin was stunned. The respectful young man from the other day was gone. He now realized Evan had held these photos from the very beginning, and all the politeness had been an act. A chill ran down his spine. His tone softened. What do you want now? I want my vending machines in your university by the end of the month. I will pay for the site and electricity, but there will be no commission. As for the photos, I won't delete them, but I can guarantee they won't be leaked. How can I trust you? Don't treat everyone like an idiot. If I told you I deleted them, would you believe me? If I really deleted them, what's to stop you from screwing me over later? As long as my machines are in your school, it's in my best interest for you to keep your job. I have no reason to ruin you. Realizing he was cornered, Zhang Bin capitulated. Fine, I'll arrange it. Tell me the installation locations. You can come and install them before next Friday. Deal, Evan replied. Pleasure doing business with you. With that situation handled, Evan made plans to visit Kevin's university on Friday to finalize the locations and celebrate Kevin's birthday. He told Claire he would be busy Saturday and couldn't visit. She replied that she was also busy that weekend. I have a group project for my band class, she lied, secretly planning to surprise him. She then teased him. There's a really handsome guy in our band. What? Evan shot back. How can there be other handsome guys in your eyes besides me? There are plenty of guys more handsome than you. I'm jealous, he typed. That's it. I'm calling your mom and telling her you're cheating on me. Claire nearly laughed out loud, but when he didn't reply for a while, she got nervous. Hello? You lazy pig, I was just kidding. If you called my mom, you're dead. Then you have to agree to be my girlfriend. No, I'll ask again tomorrow. Whatever. That night, Claire lay in bed, tracing the subway route to Evans University on her phone, memorizing it. She fell asleep with a smile, dreaming of the surprised look on his face. On Friday, Evan went to the University of Applied Technology. He and Kevin spent the afternoon mapping out the best locations for 35 new vending machines. At lunch, he laid out the next steps. Once the machines are installed, you'll be in charge here. I'll pay you $5,000 a month. You can hire 2 part-timers to help you. Their salary is up to you. $5,000. That's a lot. Don't go spending it all in one place, Evan said. I don't have anywhere to spend it, Kevin sighed. How much are you making a month anyway? You don't want to know? It'll just depress you. The next morning, the sky was gray and overcast. Evan and Leo went to the vending machine factory and placed an order for 70 more units. Just as they boarded the bus back to campus, a loud clap of thunder echoed, and the heavens opened up. Meanwhile, Claire had woken up early, put on light makeup, and left her dorm, reciting the subway directions under her breath. Everything went smoothly until she got on the crowded Line 9 train. Pushed into a corner, she couldn't see the station signs or hear the announcements over the noise, and she missed her stop. Panicked, she called her roommate, Victoria. Don't worry, Victoria reassured her. It happens to me all the time. Just go to the other side and take the train back in the opposite direction. Back on the right track, Claire finally got off at the correct station, just a mile from Evans University. But just as she started walking, a loud thunderclap made her jump. Seconds later, a torrential downpour began. She had no umbrella. Soaked and miserable, she huddled under the awning of a bus stop, the wind driving the cold rain against her. Feeling a wave of self-pity, her eyes welled up. She pulled out her phone and called Evan. The moment she heard his voice, she broke down. Evan, come get me, she sobbed. Where are you? He asked, instantly alarmed by the sound of her crying. I'm at a bus stop on Minyao Road. Stay right there. I'm on my way. He grabbed his scooter and sped off into the rain. He found her moments later, drenched and shivering. The sight of him made her cry even harder. I got up at 6:30. The subway was so crowded. I missed my stop. I planned this on Monday. Why does it have to be like this? Evan, am I really stupid? He shook his head and pulled her into a tight hug. It's okay, he said softly. I'm here now. No more crying. She buried her face in his chest, her small body trembling. As the storm raged on, Evan, who was as soaked as she was, pulled away slightly. This rain isn't stopping anytime soon. Hold your jacket over your head. I'm taking you to a hotel, okay? Claire nodded, quickly wiping her tears as he went to get the scooter. As they rode, she shyly tried to pull her jacket forward to shield his back from the rain. Just worry about yourself, he shouted over the wind. I'm fine. Hold on tight, there's a speed bump ahead. The scooter jolted, and her head nearly hit his back. Instinctively, her free hand shot out and wrapped around his waist, her palm pressing against the firm muscles of his abdomen through his thin t-shirt. She wanted to let go, but it felt too deliberate, so she just held on, her cheeks burning. Evan found a decent hotel nearby. Hi, a room for one night, please, he said to the front desk clerk. Double or king? His colleague asked, rolling her eyes. Obviously a king. Can't you see? The clerk just smiled and handed Evan the key card. In the room, Evan saw that Claire's clothes were still dripping. Did you bring a change of clothes? She nodded. Then go take a hot shower so you don't get sick. She disappeared into the bathroom. Standing under the hot water, her mind finally calmed, replaying the hug at the bus stop and the clerk's words. Her face flushed again. Is he really going to stay here tonight? Half an hour later, she came out wearing the thin set of clothes she'd brought. Evan had already turned on the heat. Come here, he said, beckoning her over with the hairdryer. She walked over, resigned. How are your cheeks so red? You don't have a fever, do you? He pressed his hand to her forehead, then to his own. The water was too hot, she explained quickly. As he dried her hair, he chided her gently. You can't do that again. I had just gotten back to campus when you called. If I hadn't been there, it would have taken me a long time to get to you. Your mom told me to take good care of you. She'd kill me if anything happened to you. You're so naggy, she pouted. When her hair was dry, he looked down and saw her bare feet. Why are you barefoot? Go put on some socks. I'm not cold. Just then, her phone rang. It was Victoria, checking in on her. Evan went to Claire's bag and found a pair of soft, white, lace-trimmed socks. He sat down next to her on the sofa, and, while she was distracted by her call, he grabbed her ankle. Her leg tensed instinctively. What are you doing? Putting on your socks. You'll catch a cold. His hand was warm against her skin, and her heart began to race. I can do it myself, she whispered. Don't move. I'll do it. He placed her foot on his thigh. Her small, pink feet were like a cat's paws. He found himself just staring, mesmerized. What are you looking at? She asked shyly, her toes curling. He snapped out of it and slowly, gently, slipped the sock onto her foot. You're still looking. Can I look? I almost wanted to kiss it. She kicked him lightly in the stomach, her face a deep shade of crimson. Pervert. Get away from me. He just grinned, his eyes still on her legs. I'm going back to the dorm to shower and change, he said, getting up. I'll bring you back some food. I'll text you when I'm at the door. Don't open it for anyone else. I know. If it gets cold, turn up the heat. I know. I like you. I know. Evan, you're a jerk. The storm had eased to a drizzle by the time Evan left the hotel. Back in his dorm, he quickly showered and changed. Thinking that Claire wouldn't have brought anything warm, he grabbed a gray hoodie from his closet and packed it in a bag for her. He picked up 3 dishes and 2 portions of rice from a nearby diner he knew she liked and headed back to the hotel. I'm here, he texted. She opened the door. What took you so long? The travel time, a shower, waiting for the food to be cooked. It hasn't been that long, has it? It's been an hour and 7 minutes. You were timing me, he teased. And no, I wasn't. They ate in comfortable silence, sitting cross-legged on the floor. I checked the weather, he said. It's supposed to be sunny tomorrow. I'll take you on a tour of my campus then. Okay, tie up your hair. It's about to fall in your food. You do it. She held out her wrist, a black hair tie looped around it. He took it and gathered her hair into a ponytail. As he sat back down, his phone buzzed. It was a message from Melinda. Evan, I saw the weather forecast. Please remind Claire to wear more layers. I will. Did you go see her this week? No, I didn't, he typed. But she came to see me today. The silly girl even got on the wrong subway. Back in her office, Melinda smiled. She knew her daughter well. An hour-long trip was not something she would undertake for just anyone. Are you two together now? She asked. Evan was about to type, we're eating at the hotel, but thought better of it and changed it to, yes, we're having a meal. Good. I'm glad to hear it. You should also make sure to stay warm. We will. Claire looked up. Who was that? Our mom. She stared at him, then asked, who was it really? I told you it was our mom. She guessed it was her own mother and fumed. She's my mom, not yours. Right. I spoke too soon. I'll call her that in the future. You. Frustrated, she took a piece of fatty meat from her plate, which she hated, and dropped it into his bowl. Evan grimaced. What? You don't like it? She asked fiercely. I don't really eat fatty meat either, he said weakly. Eat it. Now. He sighed and swallowed it down. After lunch, he gave her the hoodie. It's getting cold. You should wear this when you go out. She took it, and, to his surprise, put it on right then and there. The hoodie, which was a perfect fit for him, was adorably oversized on her. She stood up and did a little spin. How do I look? You look beautiful in everything, he said with a genuine smile. She sat down next to him, and they spent the afternoon in comfortable silence, him scrolling on his phone, her watching a show. She shifted positions a few times, eventually ending up with her socked feet resting on his thigh. After a while, her eyes started to droop. Sleepy? He asked softly. She nodded. Go lie down on the bed for a bit. As she settled under the covers, she saw him stand up. Where are you going? Just to the bathroom. You're not going to leave, are you? I won't leave, he promised. I'll be right here, watching over you. Okay. If I wake up and you're not here, she mumbled, her eyes already closed. You're dead. I won't. I promise. He stayed on the sofa the entire afternoon, watching her sleep, taking a few secret photos. At one point, she murmured his name in her sleep. He went to her side, but she was still fast asleep. He smiled, pulled the blanket up a little higher, and returned to his post. Claire woke up around 7 in the evening. As her groggy eyes focused, she saw Evan still sitting on the sofa. A small smile touched her lips. What time is it? Around 6 or 7, I think. My phone died a while ago, he replied, his voice tired. Claire got out of bed. My charger is in my bag. I know. It's charging now. My eyes were starting to hurt from staring at the screen. Are you hungry? A little. She took the hair tie from her wrist, held it in her teeth, and retied her hair. The rain has stopped, Evan said, pointing out the window. Want to go for a walk and grab a bite? Okay. They left the hotel and walked down the quiet, rain-slicked street. So, Evan asked, why the sudden visit today? Claire hesitated. I just came to see you. You can't just show up unannounced like that. You get lost so easily, I wouldn't even know where to look for you. I wouldn't get lost. Next time, you have to tell me you're coming beforehand. Claire wanted to say she'd been trying to surprise him, but the words wouldn't come out. Annoyed by his bossiness, she started deliberately stepping on his shadow as they walked. They stopped at a street vendor for some fried crepes, a treat Claire had never had before. As they ate, the moon emerged from behind the clouds, its reflection shimmering in the puddles on the ground. The night was quiet. As they walked back, Evan suddenly grabbed her arm, pulling her back from a large puddle. But this time, he didn't let go. His hand slid down from her wrist to her small hand, their palms pressing together, fingers intertwining, until their hands were tightly clasped. Back at the hotel, Claire was wide awake, her nerves buzzing from their walk back hand in hand. It's getting late, Evan said, checking the time. I should probably head back. I'll come get you in the morning. Claire felt a pang of disappointment. The thought of being alone in the hotel room made her nervous. Evan, sensing her apprehension, rattled off a list of safety tips. Don't use the kettle, lock the door, wedge a glass under the handle, and call me if anything happens. Are you listening to me? He asked when she didn't respond. He saw the look in her eyes and smiled. You don't want me to go, do you? Her silence was his answer. But this is a king-sized bed, he said teasingly. There's only one. We can't possibly sleep in the same bed, can we? No, we can't, she interrupted, her face flushing. Then how about I get another room? Do whatever you want. Which, he knew, meant yes. He went downstairs and came back a minute later, dangling a new key card. Got it. Right across the hall. Oh. Just oh? A night here costs $150, you know. What else do you want? A wicked grin spread across his face. How about a little reward? She knew his tricks by now. No reward. She turned and headed to the bathroom to wash her feet. What are you doing, he asked. Washing my feet. Need some help? Get lost, you pervert. Just as he was about to follow her, his phone rang. It was a video call from his mother. He sat on the bed and answered. Son, have you eaten? Yeah, just finished. After a few pleasantries, his mother's expression changed. Wait, where are you? That doesn't look like your dorm. I'm at a hotel. Just then, the bathroom door opened and Claire poked her head out. Evan, can you come help me with the hot water? It's freezing. His mother froze, her eyes wide. Evan tossed the phone on the bed and rushed into the bathroom. His mother stared at the screen for a second, then quickly ended the call. Honey, she said to his father, who had just come out of the bathroom. Yes. Our son took a girl to a hotel. What? Sunlight streamed through the window. Evan stretched, got ready, and, after pocketing the complimentary hotel toothbrush, knocked on Claire's door. She was ready too. Where should we get breakfast? She asked. The university cafeteria, he suggested. She wanted to see his school anyway, and most importantly, she wanted to see for herself if this female business partner of his was really as beautiful as everyone said. The cafeteria was less crowded on a Sunday morning. Still, their entrance turned heads, mostly because of Claire. She was wearing his oversized hoodie with a pair of jeans, a simple look that she made effortlessly beautiful. Whispers followed them. Who's that girl? She's definitely not from our school. Wait, isn't he with Victoria Jiang? Nah, I heard that was just a rumor. Apparently, she's just an investor in his fruit shop. Seriously? Why is he always surrounded by beautiful women? He must be stopped. At the counter, Claire, who always struggled with choices, just told him to order whatever. He got a bit of everything for them to share. I can't eat all this, she said as he placed the tray on the table. Just eat what you can. I'll finish the rest. After breakfast, he gave her a tour of the campus. When they reached one of his classrooms, she asked, Where do you sit? He pointed to the back row. She walked over and sat in his seat, and he sat in the one next to her. They sat in silence for a moment. The atmosphere felt strangely intimate, and Claire, worried he might try something, quickly stood up. Where's your fruit shop? I want to see it. A short walk later, they were standing in front of a store with a sign that read, Claire's Fruits. Seeing her name on the sign was different from just hearing about it. Come on, my roommates are probably inside. I'll introduce you. The moment they stepped in, all eyes were on them. Evelyn was off for the day, but Leo, Frankie, Thomas, and Victoria were all there. Before Evan could say anything, Victoria spoke first, her eyes on Claire. How did you end up with someone as ugly as him? Evan's face darkened. Hey, watch it. My girlfriend is 100 times prettier than you. I was talking to your girlfriend, not you. So, the ugly one was him. Claire processed two things at once. Bad news. There really was a very beautiful girl by his side. Good news. This beautiful girl clearly had no interest in him. The person most shocked by this turn of events was Frankie. The girl from Evan's phone screen was real, and she was really his girlfriend. What kind of good karma did this guy have in a past life? Evan took Claire's hand. Everyone, I'd like to formally introduce you. This is my girlfriend, Claire Chun. He then introduced his stunned friends. To his surprise, while she had resisted a little the night before, this time she didn't pull her hand away. Instead, she gently, almost imperceptibly, squeezed his palm. Claire was naturally quiet, especially around new people. After a brief greeting, she fell silent. Evan took the opportunity to delegate some tasks. Leo, Victoria, I need you two to go to the Songjiang campus this afternoon and pick out the spots for the new vending machines. The University of Applied Technology is sorted out. We should be able to install there before next Friday. Victoria was surprised. Really? That was fast. She knew how difficult it was to get things done without her uncle's help and was impressed by Evan's efficiency. I can handle the Songjiang campus by myself, she offered. After giving out a few more instructions, including helping Thomas with his application for financial aid, Evan led Claire out of the shop. The moment they were outside, she tried to pull her hand away, but he held on tight. They're still watching us, he whispered. She peeked back and saw that he was right. They were all crowded at the window, staring. She quickly turned back and hurried him around the corner. Once out of sight, she finally yanked her hand free, her palm slick with sweat. Your hand is so soft, he said with a grin. Like it has no bones. She raised her hand as if to hit him, but he just stood there, smiling foolishly. She sighed, took out a tissue to wipe her hand, and asked, What's for lunch? He took her to a spicy stir-fry restaurant he had told her about during boot camp. See? I always keep my promises. What about after lunch? I'll take you back to your school. I don't want you getting lost again. I learned my lesson. I won't get the wrong stop again. You're so ditzy. What if you do? I'm ignoring you. She stormed off. You're going the wrong way, he called after her. She spun around and marched in the other direction. He caught up to her. Are you mad? No. Then why are you walking so fast? Stop following me. You're my girlfriend. Who else am I supposed to follow? I never said yes. You didn't say no back at the shop. I was just trying to save you some face. So you were thinking of me? No. Okay, I was wrong. What were you wrong about? What do you think? I was wrong about everything. How about I get on my knees and apologize? Go on then. She didn't think he'd actually do it, not in the middle of the street. But he did. He dropped to one knee right in front of her, made a heart shape with his hands, and said, Claire Chun, I like you. Will you be my girlfriend? Her face turned scarlet, her heart pounding. Get up right now. So is that a yes? Just get up. Not until you say yes. She stomped her foot. Fine, I said yes. Yes, okay. Only then did he stand up. As she rushed ahead, she muttered, Jerk. You just love to bully me. Unseen by either of them, Sophie Wong happened to be walking on the other side of the street and witnessed the entire proposal. She frowned in confusion. Isn't he dating Victoria? How can he? A bold, unsettling thought crossed her mind. Is Evan two-timing them? In the restaurant, Claire was still blushing. It's 17 degrees and windy out here. Just shut up. I don't want to talk to you right now. Evan just smiled. You don't have to be embarrassed. We were basically dating already. Nothing has to change. You said that. I did. After lunch, he took her to the subway station. He gave her detailed instructions on which lines to take and where to transfer. I know. Wear more clothes. Change to a thicker blanket. Winter is coming. I know. Call me if you need anything. I'm your boyfriend now. She rolled her eyes at him and went through the gate. A few minutes later, the train arrived. She squeezed into the crowded car, making sure to stand where she could see the station map. Just as she was bracing herself for the noisy, uncomfortable ride, someone tapped her on the shoulder. She jumped back, turning around defensively. It was Evan. He was holding onto a handrail, smiling down at her. I was still worried about you being alone, so I followed you. She quickly stepped closer and tugged on the corner of his shirt. You big jerk, she mumbled, a smile hidden in her voice. The round trip took 3 hours, standing the whole way. It was exhausting, but Evan could tell Claire was happy, which made it all worthwhile. Back at his dorm, he pulled up the sales reports on Leo's laptop. The vending machine business was off to a strong start. Soon, they would be in 3 major university districts, and with Victoria's father's help, a 4th. The fruit shop was bringing in over $1,000 a day for him personally, and once the new vending machines were operational, his monthly income would be in the 6 figures. He estimated that if he invested it all in the current bull market, his assets could exceed $2 million by the end of the year. With $2 million, he thought, I could buy a car next year. Just as he was about to lie down, he got a message from Sophie Wong. Evan, are you free? What's up? I need to talk to you. Now. Yes. I'm waiting for you at the experimental center. It's quiet there. He was confused, but her insistence on it being important made him agree. He found her waiting for him, stylishly dressed as always. So, what did you want to talk about? He asked. I saw you today, she said, getting straight to the point. I saw what a player you are. You already have a girlfriend, but you're still two-timing her. Sophie had already decided to give up on Evan after hearing he was with Victoria, but when she saw him with yet another girl, her hopes were rekindled. If he was already cheating, what was one more? What are you talking about? Evan asked, genuinely confused. Don't play dumb, she said. I saw you with that girl this afternoon. You even got down on one knee for her. Evan realized she must have misunderstood something and decided to play along. And, Evan, she said with a coy smile, would you mind having one more girlfriend? It finally clicked. The whole school thought he was with Victoria. Sophie must have seen him with Claire and assumed he was a cheater. And she was propositioning him, hoping to get in on the action. Are you sure you're not mistaken about something? He asked. Mistaken? I only have one girlfriend, he explained. Victoria? She's not my girlfriend. No way. Everyone knows you're together. She's my business partner, he clarified. We work together, so people see us around and assume things. The girl you saw today, that's my actual girlfriend. Sophie's face fell. So, she had misunderstood. She had just laid all her cards on the table and made a complete fool of herself. She tried to backtrack. Are you lying to me? I'll go ask Victoria to confirm. I'm not lying. So now you must think I'm a terrible person, right? I just really like you, she said, looking down pitifully. Evan decided to be kind. It's not wrong to like someone. And thank you. I'll keep this between us. I'm going to head back to bed now. He knew that calling her out would only make her feel worse. As she watched him walk away, Sophie stomped her foot in frustration. She'd even worn a matching lingerie set for their meeting tonight. All for nothing. Back in the dorm, his roommates were back from the shop. I thought someone was going to be staying out all night, Frankie said snidely. Leo just laughed. Frankie, if you're jealous, just say so. Me jealous? Never. But I'm telling you, Evan, you keep this up, and your health is going to suffer. Please, Evan shot back. I'm young and in my prime. What's there to be afraid of? He then turned serious. Frankie, stay away from Sophie Wong. Why? Just trust me on this. It's for your own good. Frankie, surprisingly, didn't argue. I gave up on her a while ago, anyway. Some girls will ruin your life, and some will bring you a lifetime of good fortune, Evan said sagely. You have to be careful when you're choosing. On Monday, the temperature dropped significantly. The first thing Evan did after brushing his teeth was to send Claire 3 identical messages. Wear more clothes. Wear more clothes. Wear more clothes. You're so annoying, she replied. Why did you send the same thing 3 times? Because important things must be said 3 times. I'm wearing warm clothes. I'm about to go to class. Talk later. Evan had no classes that morning, but he was up early anyway. He transferred his available funds into his stock account and bought more shares. Later that morning, just as his class was ending, he got a message from his advisor, Tanya Sue. Come to my office after class. In her office, she got straight to the point. You know about the university sports meet this week, right? Yes, Ethan is handling it. Well, we're having trouble getting people to sign up. So far, only one person has volunteered. Ethan, in a pinch, signed himself up for the sprint and then signed up his roommate, Walter Chien, for the 1,500-meter run without asking him. He did what? Walter came to see me this morning. He doesn't want to do it. I was hoping you might have a solution. Can we still change the registration? Yes, I can talk to the department heads. Then put me down for the 1,500-meter instead of Walter, Evan said without hesitation. This kind of thing should be voluntary. Tanya smiled, as if she had expected this. If you were in charge, how would you have handled the lack of volunteers? People don't want to participate because there's no real incentive, Evan said. I would have used the class funds to offer cash prizes for anyone who placed. And even those who participated but didn't win would get a free bubble tea. If that didn't work, then the class officers and student leaders would have to step up. It seems I should have put you in charge from the start, Tanya said with a laugh. After leaving her office, Evan found Walter and told him he had been taken off the list. Walter, realizing Evan had taken his place, was incredibly grateful. That evening, Evan finally got the video call he'd been expecting. His parents were sitting side by side on the sofa, looking very serious. Mom, Dad, why the long faces? He asked cheerfully. Who was that girl on Saturday night? His mother, Hannah, asked directly. My girlfriend, he answered honestly. You take a girl to a hotel after only a few months of dating? Evan, have you no shame? Mom, you've got it all wrong. What did I get wrong? No one in our family has ever been such a scoundrel. That's not true, Evan retorted. Dad always tells me he won you over with just 3 love letters. His father, feeling his wife's murderous glare, immediately panicked. What nonsense are you talking about? I never said that. We're talking about you. Don't change the subject. Evan quickly explained the situation. She came to visit me, and it was raining, so I got her a room at a hotel near the school. But she was scared to be alone, so I got another room for myself across the hall. It's not what you think. Really? His mother asked, her tone softening. I swear. Well, she said, her voice stern again. If you're going to be in a relationship, you need to be serious. Dating without the intention of getting married is just playing around. I know. What does she look like? Do you have a picture? Yes. He sent the photo he used as his phone wallpaper. His mother stared at it for a long time. Son, she said amazed. A girl this beautiful is actually interested in you? Mom, what kind of thing is that to say? Do you have any more pictures? Send them over. After the call, his mother saved the photos to her phone. Honey, she said to her husband. Starting next month, we're giving our son an extra $500 for his allowance. Why? Dating costs money. Isn't that a bit much? It's fine. We'll take it out of your allowance. What did you say? On Tuesday, Evan received a message from Director Zhang Bin. The university had given the green light. They could install the vending machines anytime. Zhang Bin was eager to put the whole affair behind him. Evan immediately called the factory, which promised to send installers the next morning. He then messaged Kevin the good news. At the fruit shop, Victoria was at the computer. Evan leaned over her shoulder to look at the screen. How are things at the Songjiang campus? All set, she said proudly. I've found someone to manage it, and the locations are picked out. My uncle said they can install the machines on Saturday. Pretty efficient, right? Instead of praise, Evan said calmly. The University of Applied Technology is getting theirs installed tomorrow. And I've already contacted the administration at Fudan and the University of Finance. We might be able to get in there too. The mention of Fudan made Victoria pause, but she didn't connect it to her father. How did you manage that? A man of my talents has his ways, he said with a mysterious grin. She rolled her eyes and was about to retort when she realized how close his face was to hers. She shoved him away. Get lost. Why are you so close? Later, Evan messaged Kevin again, who still hadn't replied. My girlfriend's roommate wants your number, he typed. Kevin's reply was instantaneous. Really? Did you give it to her? No, it was a lie to see if you were alive. The vending machines are being delivered tomorrow. I gave the installers your number. You'll coordinate with them. Kevin's response was a string of furious emojis. The university sports meet was held on Thursday and Friday. Evan and his roommate sat in the stands, watching the events and commenting on the girls. So, When is your 1,500-meter race? Frankie asked. Tomorrow morning, Evan replied. It's not a popular event, so it's just one heat. The meet proved to be a goldmine for their vending machine business. Sales skyrocketed. At this rate, once the Songjiang campus is up and running, we'll just be sitting back and collecting money, Leo said contentedly. It's a good start, Evan said. It'll help us build up some initial capital. Initial capital? You're not satisfied with this? Of course not. This is small potatoes. The market is about to get crowded. I'm going to use this to launch into a much bigger business. Frankie's eyes lit up. Evan, whatever you do next, don't leave me behind. I might not have money to invest, but I can work hard. Evan smiled. Frankie, if you had a lot of money, what's the first thing you'd do? Frankie thought for a moment. Maybe travel. My dad travels all the time, Leo chimed in. But all he ever talks about when he gets back are the massage parlors and the beautiful women he saw. Evan, what about you? Frankie asked. I haven't really thought about it, Evan said. I'd ask my parents and my girlfriend what they want. My dad would be happy with a few $100 of secret cash his wife doesn't know about. A flower on Mother's Day makes my mom happy for a week. As for my girlfriend, her family is well off, so she doesn't really need anything material. I guess I'd just try to spend more time with her and make her happy. His heartfelt answer left his friends in a rare moment of thoughtful silence. A little while later, Frankie broke the quiet. Evan, if I see a girl I like, how do I get her number? Just go ask for it. What if she has a boyfriend? Then you ask if she's single first, Leo suggested. Wrong. Evan said, shaking his head. Never ask a woman if she's single. If she's not interested, she won't give you her number anyway. If she is interested, then for you, she's single. The next morning, the announcer's voice boomed across the field, calling the 1,500-meter runners to the starting line. Evan, who had only signed up to help his class, now felt a surge of nerves as a group of his classmates gathered to cheer him on. He hadn't planned on taking it seriously, but now, he couldn't bear the thought of finishing last. The starting gun fired. Evan had a decent amount of stamina and settled into a steady pace. After the first lap, he realized the competition wasn't as fierce as he'd thought. By the second lap, he had moved into third place. As they entered the final lap, the top 3 runners had pulled away from the rest of the pack. With the finish line in sight, the crowd roared. Evan dug deep, pushing himself forward, catching up to the second-place runner. In the final 100 meters, it was a desperate sprint. 10 meters from the finish, he was only half a body length behind the leader. They broke through the red tape at almost the exact same moment. The crowd buzzed, unsure of who had won. Since there was no electronic timing, the referee made a fair decision, a tie for first place. Evan, gasping for breath, couldn't have cared less. He was just glad it was over. His classmates swarmed him, congratulating him. He was, once again, the center of attention. Miles away in Jiangzhou, Evan's cousin, Raina Wang, was walking home from school. Her parents were both in the medical field and often worked late, so she was used to being independent. After finishing her homework, she messaged Evan. Evan, have you eaten? It was their little code. It really meant, bro, I'm out of money. Evan, who was having dinner in his own cafeteria, just smiled. He knew the drill. He sent her a $50 cash gift. Eating now, he replied. What are you having? She typed back, then added, why did you send me money? Braised ribs, spicy chicken, and broccoli. Just some pocket money for you. You're being so generous. Did you win the lottery? Nope. Your brother is rich now. I have money, she typed. You should send a gift to Claire. Send 52. It means, I love you. 520 means, I love you a lot. And 1314 means forever. Mind your own business, he replied. And stop calling her sister Claire. What should I call her then? Call her sister-in-law. Won't she get mad? No. If she gets mad, she'll take it out on me, not you. True. They chatted for another half hour before she finally went to get her own dinner. Evan smiled, remembering when she was little and would tug on his pants, chanting, tummy is thundering, tummy is thundering. Their secret code for, I'm hungry. Back at the Shanghai Conservatory of Music, Jessica was lying on her bed, legs propped against the wall. What are we going to do? The songwriting class is on Monday. There's no way we can write a whole song in 2 days. I heard some people are just buying a melody online and writing their own lyrics. Maybe we should do that, Victoria suggested. Can we even do that? And who here knows how to write lyrics? Sophia pointed out. As her roommates spiraled into a panic, Claire was lying on her own bed, smiling at her phone. Claire, Victoria called out. How can you be texting Evan at a time like this? You're hopeless. Claire quickly put her phone down. I don't know what to do about the song either. She picked her phone back up again and secretly messaged Evan. Maybe you shouldn't come tomorrow. Why not? We have this assignment. We have to write a song, and we have no idea where to start. We'll be busy all weekend. No way. I've already made plans to come see you. Then come next week. I can't wait that long. I miss you right now. Well, even if you come, I won't have time for you, she typed, her face flushing. I don't care. I'll just follow you wherever you go. Are you my shadow? Yes, I'm your shadow. Before she could reply, Victoria had crept up to her bunk and snatched the phone from her hands. Let's see what has you smiling like an idiot. Give it back. Claire lunged for it. But Victoria held it high, reading their flirty messages aloud to the whole room. She finally gave it back, then said seriously, Claire, I'm worried about you. Ever since you went to see him last weekend, he's all you think about. It's dangerous. No, I'm not, Claire mumbled. You talk in your sleep, Jessica chimed in. Twice you said, Evan, and once you said lazy pig. Claire pulled the covers over her head in embarrassment. Remember, Claire, Victoria said with a grin. Never trust a man who says he misses you after 11 p.m. At that time of night, it's not him talking, it's his little brother. Claire, mortified, typed a quick message to Evan. Victoria stole my phone. How? She pinned me down and took it. Okay, however she bullied you today, I'll bully her the same way tomorrow. You will not. You jerk. Just kidding. I'm going to sleep. Good night. The next morning, Evan was waiting downstairs at their dorm. The four girls came down together, carrying their instruments. So, you came anyway, Victoria said. Are you not happy to see me? He asked. Of course I am. If I said no, Claire would probably get mad at me. Where are you guys headed? He asked. To the instrument room, Sophia explained. Claire has no time for you today. We have to write a song. I know, he said with a grin. I'm here to help you. You? Victoria scoffed. I don't believe you. Claire hesitated, wanting to defend him. If I really help you write a song, Evan said, a challenge in his eyes. How will you thank me? If you can actually write a song, Victoria declared, you can have whatever you want. The other two quickly agreed. Only then did Claire speak up, her voice small. Victoria, you shouldn't make that bet with him. He really can do it. But he's a finance major. I know, but he can. Victoria, seeing Claire's earnestness, was still skeptical. Sophia, however, was starting to have second thoughts. This Evan kid had a mischievous glint in his eye. But with Claire here, she thought, he probably wouldn't ask for anything too outrageous, right? The instrument room was large, filled with all the standard equipment. After they settled in, Victoria immediately took charge. We have 2 days. We write the music this morning, lyrics this afternoon, and rehearse tomorrow. No food until we're done. Is it just any song, or are there specific requirements? Evan asked. Folk style? That's it. That's easy. It won't take all day, he said with a laugh. Claire, give me the guitar. The only one who had complete faith in him was Claire. He had written a song before, one that had even gone viral for a short time. She handed him the guitar. He sat down by the piano, propped the guitar on his leg, and began to search his memory for a folk song from the post-2015 era, something relatively obscure, but fitting for 4 female voices. While the girls were still debating whether the song should be about love or ideals, Evan began to play. A beautiful, clear melody filled the room. The 3 skeptics stared, mouths agape. It was a melody none of them had ever heard before. After about half an hour of seemingly improvising and composing on the spot, he had a complete, heart-stirring tune. They were all music students. They knew this was an original composition. Give me a pen. I'll write down the sheet music. In just 10 minutes, he had transcribed the entire song. Evan, how did you do that? Victoria demanded, grabbing his arm. How does a finance major know how to write music? Talent, he said with a mysterious smile. How else do you think I won Claire over? My looks? Of course not. It was my sheer talent. Claire playfully pinched his arm. The other 3 were too stunned to notice. Now that the music was done, it was time for the lyrics. My neck is sore from sitting so long, Evan complained, pretending to be exhausted. Victoria immediately understood and started massaging his shoulders. My legs are tired too, he added with a stretch. Jessica and Sophia knelt down and started rubbing his legs. He was about to make another demand when Claire grabbed his ear and twisted. Are you done yet? She hissed. He grinned sheepishly and finally got to work. A little while later, just as he was finishing the last verse, the door to the instrument room burst open. 4 guys walked in, 2 of whom Evan recognized. Julian Lee and Beck Zhang, the guys he'd scammed a free meal from. They had also come to work on their assignment. Seeing Claire and her roommates fawning over Evan, a flash of jealousy crossed their faces. Well, this is a coincidence, Julian said with a tight smile. After a brief, awkward exchange, Evan decided to leave. He folded the sheet music, tucked it in his pocket, and stood up. Let's go to the hotel. Claire and I were going to get a room nearby tonight anyway. Victoria immediately agreed, and the others followed suit. As they were leaving, Julian called out, a hint of malice in his voice. Hey, Evan, with the weather getting colder, how's the fruit business? Oh, not so good, Evan replied casually. It's the slow season. Really? Maybe I'll stop by and help you out sometime. No need for that, Evan said, stopping. He reached into his jacket. I'm not really counting on the fruit shop to make money anymore. He pulled out a business card and handed it to a stunned Julian. I started a trading company a while ago. Business is pretty good. You should stop by for tea sometime. With that, he left. Julian stared down at the card in his hand. Founder and chairman of Shinya Trading Co., he read aloud, completely bewildered. How? How is he the chairman of a trading company? Evan, let me see that business card, Victoria said as they caught up to him. He handed her one, and the other two girls crowded around to look. Shinya Trading Company. Is this really your company? My name's on it, isn't it? Wow, you're incredible. After a few more compliments, Evan asked them, so, what's your impression of me? Describe me in a few words. Jessica, seeing his smug expression, said teasingly, flippant, slick, and shameless. That's it. Yep, that's harsh. He turned to Sophia. What about you? Sophia, thinking for a moment, just said, tall and big. Evan, who was about 5'11", was indeed tall by their standards. But he just grinned mischievously. Sophia, I asked you to describe me with one adjective, not two. Huh. Sophia was confused. How was tall and big two adjectives? It was Victoria who got the dirty joke first. She slapped him on the back, laughing. Evan, you're being a pervert again, aren't you? By the time Sophia understood, her face was bright red. Evan just laughed, grabbed Claire's hand, and pulled her across the street. Back at the hotel, they gathered around as Evan finished the last two lines of the lyrics. He then picked up the guitar and began to sing the song he'd written for them, a gentle folk tune called Whispers of Time. His magnetic voice filled the room, and the simple, heartfelt melody captivated them all. Amazing. That was so good. Why aren't you in the music program? Music is my hobby, he said. Making money is my goal for college. Anyway, the task is complete. All you have to do is practice. Thank you, master. Don't forget what you promised me downstairs, he reminded them. So what do you want? Victoria asked, wary. How about you all treat me to lunch, he said. That's not too much to ask, right? Deal. After a big meal at the mall, they returned to the hotel to rehearse the song. Meanwhile, at Hangzhou Airport, Harrison Shun, Claire's father, was making a call to his ex-wife. I just landed, he said, his voice flat. Tell me where Claire's dorm is. I'm going to see her. You're in Shanghai? Melinda sounded surprised. Why didn't you tell me? She's my daughter too. I don't need your permission to see her. Hold on, Melinda said. Let me check with Evan to see if she's even on campus. Why are you asking him? Claire went to visit him last weekend. For all I know, she's not at her school this weekend either. Hearing this, Harrison's face darkened. Melinda hung up, sent a few texts, then called him back. You can just call her directly when you get near the school. Is that little bastard with her? Yes. They're at a hotel right now. A hotel? Harrison bellowed, earning stares from passers-by. They're in a hotel room together? Melinda could feel his rage through the phone, and it delighted her. She let him stew for a moment before explaining. You're overthinking it. Her 3 roommates are with them too. So they're dating now? Probably. How serious is it? I don't know. And you just trust that little punk? He demanded. How many boys his age are decent people? From my perspective, Melinda said coldly, the only one who isn't a decent person is you. And with that, she hung up. Chapter 127. Your mom just messaged me. Evan told Claire after replying to Melinda. Claire stopped what she was doing. What did she say? She said your dad is at Hangzhou Airport and is on his way to see you. The smile vanished from Claire's face. What did you tell her? I said we're at the hotel. She said your dad will call you when he's nearby. Claire's roommates knew about her parents' divorce. Seeing her sudden change in mood, Victoria asked gently, is Claire's dad difficult to talk to? Before Evan could answer, Claire spoke up. Victoria, Jessica, Sophia, you 3 should head back first. They left without another word. The trip from the airport was short. Are we waiting for your dad here? Evan asked quietly. Yes. If he sees us alone in a hotel room together, Evan said cautiously, he's probably going to kill me, right? Claire turned to him, a warning in her eyes. Are you scared? She had sent her roommates away on purpose. She wanted her father to find them together. She wanted to send a message. You don't have time for me, so someone else will. Of course not, Evan said, puffing out his chest. Whatever you want me to do, I'll do it. Really? Really? Then he asked cheekily. Let me ask you a hypothetical. If your dad and I both fell into a river, and you could only save one of us, who would it be? That's a question girls ask guys, not the other way around, she said, rolling her eyes. Well, who would you save? He pressed. I don't know. What about you? If your mom and I were drowning, what would you do? You know how to swim, don't you? Evan shot back instantly. You. Hey, I'm just trying to lighten the mood. You look so worried. She turned away. I'm not. Want to practice the guitar some more? She agreed, picking up the instrument and starting to play the song he'd written. He came up behind her, his hands covering hers on the fretboard and strings, guiding her through the difficult chords. His hands were large and warm, completely enveloping her cool, slender ones. She could feel his warm breath on her ear as he spoke, and her whole body tensed. She couldn't focus on his instructions, her mind a dizzying blur. Her phone rang, jarring them both. It was her father. He was at the school gate. She gave him the hotel name and room number and hung up. Then, to Evan's surprise, she looked at him, her face still flushed, and whispered, Let's continue. He realized then that this was all for her father's benefit. He wrapped his arms around her from behind again, and they continued their intimate lesson. 10 minutes later, the door was thrown open. Harrison Chin stood there, his face ashen. He saw them, heads almost touching, and swayed on his feet. What? What are you two doing? He stammered. Evan, unfazed, stepped away. Harrison slammed the door shut, the room thick with unspoken fury. He looked at Evan and said coldly, "Get out. I need to talk to my daughter." But just as Evan was about to leave, Claire said, "Where are you going?" Evan looked from Claire to her father, then back again, before offering a placating smile. "Mr. Chun, how about I just sit over here and play on my phone?" Harrison reluctantly agreed. He sat next to his daughter, but she immediately scooted away. After a long, tense silence, he finally turned to Evan. "What is your relationship with my daughter?" Before Evan could answer, Claire spoke up, her voice defiant. "He's my boyfriend. I said yes last week." Evan just shrugged and smiled at Harrison, a look that clearly said, "Sorry, old man. I've already won." Chapter 128. The one thing Harrison had dreaded most had happened. He wasn't just angry or sad. He felt a deep sense of injustice. He had worked hard his whole life, not for himself, but for his family. His divorce wasn't due to infidelity, but to the simple, sad reality of two people growing apart. Now, he looked at his daughter, and his voice softened. "Claire, you're an adult now, and you can make your own decisions. But relationships are a lifelong commitment. You must be careful." This wasn't the explosion she had expected. She didn't know how to respond. "I took 2 days off just to see you," he continued, his voice almost pleading. "I have to go back tomorrow afternoon. Will you show me around your school?" Before she could answer, Evan spoke up. "Mr. Chin came all this way. You should go with him." Only then did Claire stand up. As they were about to leave, she stopped and looked back at Evan, an unspoken command in her eyes. "You're coming with us." Evan hesitated, then followed. The silent exchange was not lost on Harrison. It was a dagger to his heart. The walk to the school was awkward. Claire was silent, so Evan filled the void, acting as a tour guide, pointing out buildings and explaining the campus layout. "Evan," a voice called out. It was one of Claire's classmates, Wendy. "Wendy? What a coincidence," Evan said with a friendly smile. "You two out on another date?" she teased, then noticed the older man with them. "Oh, this is Claire's father." "Hello, sir," Wendy said politely before waving goodbye. Harrison was taken aback. Her classmates knew Evan? That meant he came here often. He knew the two schools were over an hour apart. He had hoped the distance would keep them apart. Clearly it hadn't. At the girls' dormitory, Harrison suggested taking her roommates out to dinner. Claire hesitated, but Evan was already shouting their names up at the balcony. A few minutes later, the three girls came downstairs. The dinner at a seafood buffet was lively, but Harrison felt like an outsider. He watched as Evan expertly cracked a crab for his daughter, and as she, without a second thought, placed the food she didn't want into Evan's bowl. Their easy intimacy was a constant, painful reminder of his own distance from her. He had known this day would come, but he had never imagined it would be so soon, or hurt so much. After dropping the girls off at their dorm, Harrison turned to Evan. "I need to talk to you." They went to a nearby coffee shop, a place filled with young couples, which only served to amplify Harrison's discomfort. "I can no longer interfere in my daughter's affairs," he began, his voice strained. "But I hope you won't do anything to hurt her out of some youthful impulse. I've already given my word to her mother on that. Your little tricks with women won't work on me. If my daughter gets hurt because of you, I will never forgive you." He then pulled out his phone. "Add me on WhatsApp. I need to know what she's up to every day, too." "I can add you," Evan said calmly. "But I won't be reporting her daily activities to you. You do it for her mother, don't you?" "Her mother is different. She supports our relationship." "And how do you know that?" "I've called her my mother-in-law to her face, and she didn't object." "Does that count?" Harrison's heart clenched. He couldn't believe Melinda could be so foolish. Frustrated, he said, "If this were a few years ago, you wouldn't have even had a chance with my daughter." An absurd idea popped into his head. "Let's make a deal. I'll give you money. How much for you to break up with my daughter?" Evan stared at him for a long moment, then asked, "How much are you offering?" Harrison, disgusted that Evan was actually negotiating, threw out a number he thought a college kid couldn't refuse. 100,000. In 2014, that was enough for a down payment on an apartment in their hometown. But Evan almost laughed. He suppressed his smile and said seriously, "Sir, I'll give you $1 million. Can you promise to stay out of our business from now on?" $1 million. Harrison scoffed. "Do you even have that kind of money?" Evan said nothing. He simply opened his stock trading app and handed the phone to Harrison. The account balance displayed a 7-figure number. Harrison's eyes widened. He scrolled through the app, confirming it was real. A freshman with over $1 million in a stock account? It was unheard of. Where did you get all this money?" he stammered. Evan explained calmly. "I won a small lottery over the summer, which gave me some starting capital. I opened a fruit shop, then a trading company for vending machines. I invested all the profits into the stock market." "You're a bank manager, sir. You know how the market has been since the summer." Harrison was speechless. The 18-year-old kid in front of him had built $1 million portfolio in less than 6 months. He realized Evan wasn't negotiating. He was mocking him. Sir, I know you've always looked down on me, Evan said, taking his phone back. But maybe one day, you'll be even more surprised by what I can achieve. But you can rest assured, until I can provide Claire with a better life than what she has now, your fears will not come to pass. I can promise you that. As Evan got up to leave, Harrison called after him. If that day truly comes, I will apologize to you. No need for an apology, Evan said over his shoulder. Just trust your daughter's judgment. Later that night, Melinda called. Harrison, his voice filled with a strange mix of defeat and awe, recounted his conversation with Evan. He's earned over $1 million in just a few months, he admitted. I misjudged him, but that doesn't change the fact that no father wants to see his 18-year-old daughter dating. He sighed. I won't interfere anymore. But please, Melinda, keep me informed. I am, after all, still her father. I will, she promised. Harrison barely slept that night. The next morning, he met Claire for breakfast in her school's cafeteria. She could tell he hadn't slept well. His dark circles were pronounced. The father and daughter sat in silence, a gulf of unspoken words between them. Finally, Harrison broke the quiet. I'm heading to the airport after this. It's getting cold, so remember to wear more layers. Okay. About you and Evan. Claire tensed, but he continued, his voice softer than she'd ever heard it. I won't interfere anymore. You've always been a smart girl. I trust you to make your own judgments when it comes to matters of the heart. Claire looked up, surprised. I said I won't interfere, he said, a flicker of his old stubbornness returning. That doesn't mean I approve. Those are two different things. He stood up to leave. Let your mother and I know when your winter break starts. Maybe we can all have New Year's Eve dinner together this year. At those words, Claire's eyes welled up. She couldn't remember the last time their family had done that. He gently ruffled her hair and walked away without looking back. She kept her head down, unwilling to let him, or anyone, see her cry. A moment later, Evan arrived. He had seen Harrison leave and waited a moment before approaching. He sat down next to her. Your dad left. She nodded, turning her head away. Evan reached into her hoodie pocket, found a pack of tissues, and handed one to her. Wipe your tears, and I'll pretend I didn't see anything. You already saw, she mumbled, her pouty expression looking endearingly silly. I said I'd pretend, he insisted. She took the tissue, dabbed at her eyes, then shoved the half-eaten bun she'd been holding into his hand, and walked out. He followed her, taking a bite of the terrible-tasting bun. What did your dad say to you? Not telling you. You know, he talked to me last night too. What did you guys talk about? I'm not telling you either. Evan, you're a jerk. I don't want to be your girlfriend anymore. No takebacks. I'm taking it back. The whole world knows we're a couple now. It's too late. She stormed ahead, and he had to jog to keep up. When he fell silent, she stopped and looked back, a flicker of disappointment on her face. He popped out from behind a tree, making a goofy face. Were you looking for me? She started hitting his chest with her small fists. He let her, and when she was done, he pulled her into a hug. She struggled for a moment, then melted against him. You hit me so many times, he murmured into her hair. Letting me hug you is fair, right? He could feel her nod against his chest. They stood like that for a long moment. Are you busy this morning? He asked softly. No. Want to come with me to buy a winter coat? Okay. He took her hand, lacing his fingers through hers. Claire, can you promise me something? What is it? From now on, whenever you're unhappy, you have to call me first. Why? So I can get to you as fast as possible and cheer you up. I'm not that easy to cheer up. I have my ways. Does that mean you'll cheer up other girls when they're unhappy too? Of course not, he said with a smile. There's only one Claire Chun in the world. As long as you're happy, that's all that matters to me. Buying a coat was just an excuse. Evan knew Claire wasn't in the mood for anything fun, but shopping was a valid reason to be out. They went to a department store. Even with over $1 million in his stock account, Evan was still frugal. They went to a domestic brand store, where the down jackets were reasonably priced. He let Claire pick one out for him. She chose a simple, long, black jacket. The sales associate launched into a practice speech, but they both ignored her. After Evan tried it on, he asked, Do you have this style in white? You like the white one? The associate asked, surprised. Not for me, Evan explained. I want to buy one for my girlfriend too. Claire, who had been silent, shot him a look. I didn't say I wanted one. I know, but I want to buy one for you. He grinned. Same style, different colors. We'd be wearing matching couples outfits. She rolled her eyes, but went into the dressing room with the white jacket anyway. When she came out, Evan stood next to her in front of the mirror. They looked perfect together. She tried to push him away, but he just grabbed her hand and smiled at their reflection. We'll just wear them out, he told the beaming sales associate. Outside the store, Claire grumbled. You never consult me before doing things. It's infuriating. That's infuriating. Yes. If your dad hadn't shown up, he said with a wicked grin, I would have done things that were way more infuriating. She blushed and tried to stomp on his foot, but he dodged. Don't you dare move, she commanded. He surrendered, and she gave his foot a light, symbolic tap. As they walked, she noticed her shoelace had come undone. Before she could bend down, he was already on one knee, tying it for her. A young couple walking by saw them. The wife punched her husband in the arm. "Look at him," she said, full of envy. The husband just sighed. "Can you not? Our kid is in elementary school." The small, public display of affection made Claire's heart flutter again. They went back to the hotel to pick up their things, and then headed back to her dorm. The other girls were there, practicing the song. Evan gave them a few pointers, and soon their harmony improved significantly. After lunch in the cafeteria, it was time for him to go. Her roommates went back upstairs, leaving the two of them to walk to the school gate alone. "Hey Claire, can I ask you a question?" he said. "Go ahead. Do you like summer or winter? I used to dislike both. And now I like them both." "What about me? I also Lee." She caught herself just before the word like escaped her lips. She turned her head away, muttering, "I almost fell for that again." "I heard you say like," he teased. "I did not." "Well, I like you. You've already said that. Every time I see you, I want to say it again." Her heart skipped a beat. Evan got back to school around 2 in the afternoon. The fruit shop was quiet, with only Thomas and Evelyn working. "Where are Leo and Frankie?" he asked. "Leo left after lunch," Thomas said. "Something about meeting with the logistics director at the Second Polytechnic University. Frankie's probably napping. He was up until midnight talking to some girl he met on a dating app." Evan had told Leo to feel out the director at Second Poly, so progress on that front was good news. But Frankie, napping in the dorm while chatting up a random girl from an app? 9 out of 10 of those were scammers. What was that idiot thinking? Back in the dorm, Evan found Frankie glued to his laptop, grinning like a fool as his fingers flew across the keyboard. Evan snuck up behind him and watched the chat with a user named Mimi for a few minutes before yanking his ear. "Ow, what the hell? You skip your shift at the shop to flirt with a girl online? Do you even want this job?" Frankie looked guilty. "I'll unload the truck by myself tomorrow, I promise. I'm just really busy today." "I can't believe you," Evan said, shaking his head. "You're smiling like a pervert at a computer screen. For all you know, that could be a dude." "No way, she's definitely a girl." "You seen a picture?" "Not yet. And you're still talking to her?" "We just matched yesterday," Frankie argued. "It would be weird if she sent a picture this fast, right?" Evan sighed. "Just don't get scammed." After tossing his dirty laundry in a bucket to soak, Evan sat down and messaged Claire. "What are you up to?" "Spacing out," she replied. Her roommates, she said, were watching Yexo music videos, which she wasn't into. "I'll make a video for you next time," he typed. "You can watch me instead." "No thanks. I just checked the weather," he continued. "Looks like rain all week. If it's still raining this weekend, I probably won't come over. It's a pain to travel, and I can't exactly hang out in your dorm all day." There was a pause before she replied. "Oh, I hate rainy days now." "Me too," he typed back. He told her he had to go do laundry and would talk to her later. Just as he finished, Leo returned, looking defeated. "How did it go?" Evan asked. "I don't know what to say," Leo sighed. "He was friendly enough every time I visited, and he accepted all the gifts. But whenever I brought up the vending machines, he'd change the subject. Today I just laid it all on the table and asked him how much it would take. He just mumbled something about the school cracking down on misconduct and how it would be difficult. And then I came back." "You idiot," Evan said, shaking his head. He was speaking in code. He explained that if the director wasn't interested, he wouldn't have met with Leo multiple times. The fact that he kept meeting meant he was interested, they just couldn't talk about money directly. Evan took Leo's phone and crafted a carefully worded message to Director Foam, apologizing for being too forward and requesting another meeting, this time with his boss present. A minute later, a reply came back. "It's understandable for young people to be a bit hasty. I'm free tomorrow evening." Evan typed a quick thank you and tossed the phone back to Leo. "Let's go eat." In his microeconomics class, Evan sat in the back, finishing a bun from the cafeteria. Ethan, the class monitor, walked over, looking stern. "Evan, what do you think you're doing? You can't eat in the classroom. This is a place for learning." "Is it really that big a deal?" Evan asked, annoyed by his self-important tone. Just then, the professor rushed in, looking flustered. The class quieted down, and Ethan retreated to his seat. Evan stuffed the rest of his breakfast in his desk, wiped the blackboard, and noticed the professor's empty thermos. "Sir," he offered, "can I get you some hot water?" The middle-aged professor smiled gratefully. "Thank you. The traffic was terrible. I didn't even have time for breakfast." Evan returned not just with a full thermos of hot water, but also with the 2 buns he hadn't eaten. "Sir, class doesn't start for a few more minutes. Why don't you have these?" The professor accepted with a warm thanks. From his seat, Evan could see the sour expression on Ethan's face. After class, Evan found Victoria at the fruit shop, already crunching numbers on the calculator. She had a habit of double-checking the automated sales reports by hand. "You're here early," he said. "Don't bother me," she mumbled, focused on the screen. He waited until she finished her calculations before offering her a banana. "I'm treating you," he said, rolling his eyes. She eyed it suspiciously. "Is this free?" She took it. Evelyn, who was also there, looked confused. "Victoria, I offered you a banana earlier, and you said you weren't hungry." When a girl says she's full, Evan explained sagely, It means she can probably still eat half a pound of snacks. When a guy says he's full, one more bite might actually kill him. You have a lot to learn about women, Evelyn. Victoria, after a bite of banana, turned to him. Why do you know so much about women? You must have started dating really young. Natural talent. Don't be ridiculous. I am a man of impeccable character. Please stay away from me, she said, pushing him away playfully. Hearing you say things like that makes me nauseous. They reviewed the sales figures, then she got serious. I think we need an office. She explained that with the business growing, they needed a central place to handle things like finances. She had already researched a university program that offered office space to student-run startups. You seem to have this all figured out, Evan said, impressed. Since you're a shareholder, why don't you take the lead on this? On one condition, she said. If I get the office, you have to make me the head of finance. And you have to pay me a salary. Business is business, she insisted. A salary? You already own a piece of the company. He sighed. Fine, you win. With the deal struck, she promptly left to begin the application process, snatching another bunch of bananas on her way out. Evan just shook his head and smiled. At the Shanghai Conservatory of Music, it was time for the songwriting class presentations. After one group finished their uninspired performance, Professor Liu gave them a C- for effort before calling for the next group. That's us, Victoria said, nudging her roommates. The four of them walked to the front of the room. Claire, normally nervous, felt surprisingly calm with her friends by her side. After they set up, she strummed the opening chords of Whispers of Time. As Claire began to sing the first verse, a hush fell over the classroom. The melody was beautiful, and the lyrics, which Victoria had claimed were inspired by a classic poem, were evocative. They traded verses and harmonized on the chorus, their voices blending perfectly. When they finished, the room erupted in applause. Even Professor Liu was smiling. Who wrote this song? She asked, genuinely impressed. Claire wrote the music, Victoria said, sticking to the story Evan had told them to use. And we all collaborated on the lyrics. The professor beamed. Excellent. This is the most complete and satisfying song I've heard so far today. I can't find a single flaw. Well done. She made a note on her grading sheet, and just as she was about to dismiss them, the bell rang. As they left the classroom, Jessica was buzzing. I saw the grade sheet. She gave all of us an A. We have our mastermind to thank for that, Sophia said with a laugh. Good thing you have a boyfriend like that, Victoria added, draping an arm over Claire's shoulder. Otherwise, we'd all be failing this class. He really is the whole package, Jessica agreed. Tall, rich, handsome, and he can write music. What's not to like? Claire's face turned pink. Stop talking about him. He's not as great as you all say. Oh yeah? Tell us one thing that's bad about him, Victoria challenged. He's not serious enough, Claire mumbled. And, Claire added, he's cheap. Flustered, Claire finally blurted out. And he's a pervert. Who likes a guy who's boringly serious? He's definitely not cheap with you. Victoria just rolled her eyes. Honey, welcome to the world. What man isn't? That night, Evan and Leo rode Evan's electric scooter to Director Feng's apartment complex. I feel like we're at a disadvantage showing up on this thing, Leo grumbled. I need to figure out a way to get my dad to buy me a car. Just tell him you need it for dates with Yana, Evan suggested. You two are basically childhood sweethearts, right? Something like that, Leo admitted. My dad already has my whole life planned out, right down to the year I'm supposed to get married. Coming to Shanghai was my one act of rebellion. They parked the scooter and walked towards the building. All right, Evan said, clapping him on the shoulder. Let's get this done. Director Feng, a man in his 40s with square glasses, opened the door. Director Feng, Leo began, this is our company's boss, Evan Su. Evan stepped forward, shaking his hand warmly. Director, so sorry to disturb you this late. A woman emerged from the bedroom, and Evan immediately turned on the charm. Director, is this your daughter? Leo almost choked. The woman was clearly in her 40s as well, but she giggled, delighted. You're too kind. I'm well past 40. No way, Evan said, his surprise looking completely genuine. I would have guessed 20-something. The woman beamed, and even Director Feng looked pleased. Leo was stunned. This was a master at work. They were offered tea, a courtesy Leo had never received on his solo visits. Evan didn't bring up business right away. Instead, he commented on a piece of calligraphy hanging on the wall. It was a poem from a historical epic. Did you write this, Director? He asked, feigning admiration. This was one of Feng's hobbies. I dabble, he said, trying to sound modest. The brushwork is powerful and fluid, Evan continued. I thought it was a professional piece of art. This praise, so rare for him to hear at home, clearly pleased the director. They launched into a long conversation, moving from calligraphy to history, and then to international politics. Leo sat there, completely lost, wondering what he was even doing there. Finally, Evan steered the conversation back. Director, about the vending machines, do you think there's a chance for us to partner with your university? Feng gave a non-committal answer about it being complicated. Evan then noticed a vase on a side cabinet. Director, that's a beautiful vase. Is it an antique? Do you know about antiques? Feng asked, intrigued. Not at all, but I assume if it's an antique, It must be valuable. They were no longer talking about antiques, a fact that was still lost on Leo. How much do you think it's worth? Feng asked, playing along. 20 or 30,000? Evan guessed. Definitely more than that. So how much is it? A piece in good condition could be worth over 100,000, Feng said thoughtfully. But it depends on the buyer's eye. I'm young and don't know much about this stuff, Evan said with a smile. But if it were me, I'd only be willing to spend 50,000 on this one at most. He pointed to a small flaw near the rim. See, there's a chip right here. I assumed that would lower the price quite a bit. Feng looked at the imaginary flaw and finally relented. You're right. I suppose that's what it would be worth then. Looks like I have a decent eye after all, Evan said cheerfully. As he placed the vase back on the cabinet, his hand suddenly slipped. The vase crashed to the floor, shattering into 100 pieces. Director, I'm so sorry. It was an accident, Evan exclaimed, looking horrified. It's all right, Feng said calmly. I insist on paying for it, Evan said, already crouching to pick up the pieces. Don't worry about it. I'll have my wife clean it up. I'll get the money together and bring it back to you next time. Again, I'm so sorry. It's a small matter. Outside, halfway back to school on the scooter, it finally dawned on Leo. So, you weren't talking about antiques at all, were you? You were negotiating the price. You're just now figuring that out? Holy crap, Leo yelled over the wind. That was incredible. The bottom of that vase rolled next to my foot. It had a made in Jingdezhen factory stamp on it. Evan just chuckled. Damn, Leo said, shaking his head in awe. I have never seen anything like that in my life. Back in the dorm, Leo lay in bed, replaying the evening's events in his mind. Evan's performance had been flawless, from the initial flattery to the final, masterful negotiation disguised as a clumsy accident. He couldn't understand how someone his own age could be so adept at navigating the complex world of adult politics and business. It was the kind of skill that usually took years in the corporate or government world to develop. Meanwhile, Evan was on a video call with Claire. So, he asked, how did your professor like the song I wrote? She said it was ordinary, Claire replied, avoiding his gaze. No way, he laughed. I don't believe you. Believe what you want, she said with a pout. Dare you to say that again while looking me in the eye. I will not. See? You're a terrible liar. I'm hanging up. I'm going to sleep. Don't hang up, he said quickly. Switch to a voice call. No. Why not? I heard you snoring last time. After a bit more playful bickering, she hung up. He immediately tried to voice call her back. She ignored it for 15 minutes before texting goodnight. He called again instantly. After a long 30-second pause, she answered. Before he could speak, she warned. You say a word, and I'm hanging up. He responded with a series of nonsensical clicks and sounds. What did you say? I said, okay, good night. Why can't you just talk normally? You told me to shut up. Hiding under her covers, she muttered, idiot. The next few rainy days passed in a blur of classes and work. On Friday, Leo got the official word from Director Feng. The university had approved their vending machines. That night, Evan and Leo returned to Feng's apartment with 50,000 in cash. On the way, Leo had asked why they couldn't just do a bank transfer. Evan had to explain that a man like Feng would never accept a payment with a digital trail. The transaction was quick and clean. As they left, they could hear Feng's wife exclaiming over the money. Back at the fruit shop, Victoria was waiting. Where have you been? Taking care of business. What's up? She handed him a piece of paper. The office application was approved. We can move in this weekend. Pretty efficient, huh? I'm sure your uncle's efficiency had nothing to do with it, he teased. She put her hands on her hips. For your information, I ran back and forth to the administration building more times than I can count for this. Now, give me money. She explained they needed to buy equipment, starting with computers. The computer stores will rip you off, he said. My best friend builds PCs. I'll have him handle it. I'll transfer you 5,000 for everything else. She agreed and left. Evan then called Kevin. Kev, I need you to do something for me. I'm in the middle of a game of League. Make it quick. I need you to build a few office computers for me. It's supposed to rain all weekend. Just say if you'll do it or not. I'll have to think about it. Don't get cocky with me, you little punk. Is that how you ask for a favor? All right, how about this? Evan said, switching tactics. You come tomorrow, and I'll introduce you to our campus belle. Seriously? Word of honor. I'll be there first thing in the morning. Saturday brought a cold snap along with the promised rain. Evan woke up and immediately pulled on the long-down jacket he'd bought the week before. Downstairs, Thomas was quietly reading while waiting for the water to boil. Once it did, he handed Evan a hard-boiled egg. Around 8:20, Kevin called. Evan grabbed an umbrella and went to pick him up from the subway station. Kevin was shivering. You're not wearing enough. Aren't you cold? Evan asked. You said you were introducing me to the campus belle, Kevin replied, as if that explained everything. This is my most handsome outfit. Evan just shook his head and drove them to the university gym, where the new student startup center was located. He called Victoria, who was still in the cafeteria. I'm at the gym. Where's our office? Room 107, she said. But it's no use. I have the key. I'll be there in about half an hour. I'll come get you, he offered. He left Kevin waiting, who immediately started fixing his hair and his phone's camera. In the cafeteria, Evan found Victoria slowly finishing her porridge. What are you planning to buy today? He asked, sitting opposite her. Whatever the office needs. She showed him her online shopping history, a long list of stationery and other small items she'd already ordered. The main things are a printer and a landline, she explained. And some proper office chairs. The ones in there are just backless stools. Can you handle all that by yourself? Don't underestimate me. I'm more useful than your roommates. Still, I feel bad making you go alone, he said. How about I go with you today? Don't you have to see your girlfriend? It's raining, he said simply. She thought for a moment. Fine. You can be my manual labor for the day. We have someone for that, he grinned. My buddy Kevin. I told him to come help us build the computers. He'll be perfect for carrying things. As she finished her porridge, she packed up a leftover steamed bun. Seeing her frugality, and thinking about her eating a cold bun on a day like this, Evan held out his hand. I only had an egg for breakfast. Give me the bun. She rolled her eyes, but handed it over. He gave her the umbrella, got on his scooter, and she hopped on the back, holding the umbrella over both of them with one hand and lightly gripping his jacket with the other. She hopped on the back, holding the umbrella over both of them with one hand and lightly gripping his jacket with the other. From a distance, Kevin saw them approaching. He saw the girl on the back and thought to himself, for once, that idiot actually came through on a promise. Evan parked the scooter and introduced them. This is my best friend, Kevin Cheen. And this is Victoria Jiang, our campus belle. Kevin's heart hammered in his chest. Hello, he managed to say. Victoria, feeling a bit sorry for the guy Evan had tricked into being their pack mule for the day, gave a small nod and a polite hello in return. They first went to check out the new office. It was a decent size, about 60 square meters, already portioned into cubicles with a small conference room. After a quick look, they decided to head out. They took a taxi to the nearest computer market. The ride was awkward. Evan had wanted to sit in the front, but Kevin was too timid to sit in the back with Victoria, so Evan was stuck between them. Victoria, bothered by the smell of smoke in the cab, immediately rolled down her window. After a moment of silence, she asked Evan about the deal with the Second Polytechnic University. How did you manage it? Flattery and a bribe, he answered bluntly. How much? 50,000. And we'll probably have to give him a little something every semester. I'm not that stupid, she cut in, rolling her eyes. I know it's a worthwhile investment. Kevin, sitting in the front, couldn't help but chuckle. It was the first time he'd ever seen someone win a verbal spar with Evan. Evan heard him and slapped the back of his head. What are you laughing at? None of your business, Kevin shot back. Keep laughing, and I'll tell her all your embarrassing middle school stories. The taxi driver, listening to their banter, remarked, You all seem to have a great relationship. Sir, Kevin immediately clarified. We grew up together, but we're not actually that close. They arrived at the market. Kevin was in his element. He confidently walked up to a stall and started rattling off model numbers for processors, negotiating prices like a pro. Evan decided to set up 2 higher-end machines for finance and 3 basic ones for general office work. All right, Kev, you wait here and get these assembled, Evan said. We're going to buy the other stuff. I'll treat you to a big dinner tonight. You have zero credibility with me, Kevin grumbled. If he doesn't, I will, Victoria offered with a smile. Kevin immediately perked up. Okay, I'll try to get it done as soon as possible. An hour and a half later, Evan and Victoria returned. Evan handed a bubble tea to Victoria. You give this to him. You bought it. Why don't you give it to him? She asked. I have to use the restroom, he lied, finding a chair and pulling out his phone. Victoria walked over to Kevin. This is for you. Hearing her voice, Kevin's mood instantly brightened. He knew a girl like Victoria was out of his league, but just being able to say he was friends with the campus belle was enough to make him happy for a very long time. Getting 5 computer towers and 5 monitors back to campus was going to be a problem. Evan remembered that a new logistics app, similar to Uber for vans, had just launched, but it wasn't widespread yet. He asked the stall owner, who knew a few local van drivers, and arranged one for a reasonable price. By the time the van arrived, Kevin had finished assembling all 5 machines. Back at the office, Leo and Frankie helped them carry everything inside. While Kevin installed the operating systems, Evan and Leo went to get takeout for everyone. After a quick lunch, they spent the rest of the afternoon cleaning the office and setting up the new furniture and equipment that was delivered. By evening, the empty space had been transformed into a proper office. Victoria looked around, a satisfied smile on her face. It feels like we've gone from a garage startup to a real company, Leo said. Since we're all here, Evan announced, let's have a meeting. Let's talk about the future of our company. He laid out his vision, 4 departments, business development, procurement, customer service, and finance. He assigned roles and stressed the urgency of expanding beyond universities into hotels, office buildings, and shopping centers before competitors flooded the market. He proposed hiring a sales team on a high-commission basis to accelerate their growth. The others were captivated. Kevin, sitting next to Victoria, felt a strange sense of distance from his childhood friend. In less than half a year, Evan had transformed into a confident, visionary leader. That evening, the team went out for a celebratory dinner. Frankie, eager to show off, started chugging beers and was red-faced after just one bottle. The dinner was loud and cheerful. As Evan watched his friends laughing and arguing, a sense of nostalgia washed over him, a strange feeling of remembering a future he had already lived. He found himself drinking too, and soon his head felt light and fuzzy. By the time Leo paid the bill, Frankie was passed out on the table, and Evan was swaying on his feet. Leo and Thomas had to half-carry them back to the dorm. On the way, swaying in the cold night air, Evan fumbled for his phone. He wanted to call Claire. He opened his messaging app, his vision blurry. Her name was pinned to the top, but his clumsy fingers tapped the contact just below it. The call connected. "Hello, Claire," he slurred into the phone. "I thought about you all day. I think I'm falling more and more in love with you." There was a long pause on the other end, then Melinda John's confused voice. "Evan, did you mean to call someone else?" Evan blinked, trying to focus on the screen. He saw Melinda's name, but didn't hang up. "It's okay, Auntie," he said, his voice thick with alcohol. "I love you too." Leo, horrified, snatched the phone. "Auntie, this is Evan's roommate. He's had a bit too much to drink. He's just talking nonsense." "I see," Melinda said, a hint of amusement in her voice. "Just make sure he gets some rest." After she hung up, she stared at her phone for a long moment, then shook her head and smiled. That boy, she thought. He has no sense of propriety. I'll have to tell Claire to make sure he drinks less in the future. Claire waited all day for a message from Evan. By 10 at night, with still no word, she finally gave in and typed, "Hey, idiot, where are you?" Minutes ticked by with no reply. Just as she was about to call him, her mother's name lit up her screen. It was unusual for her to call so late. "Claire," Melinda began. "Evan called me just now." Claire was confused. "He ignores my message but calls my mom." "He meant to call you," Melinda explained, "but he's drunk and dialed my number by accident. He's probably asleep by now, so don't wait up for him." "I wasn't waiting for him," Claire said quickly, a little too defensively. Melinda just chuckled and told her to get some sleep. The next morning, Evan woke up with a splitting headache. Frankie was still asleep, but Leo and Thomas were gone. After a long, hot shower, he finally started to feel human again. Leo returned with breakfast. "You remember anything from last night?" he asked. "I remember calling my girlfriend," Evan said, rubbing his temples. "You called the wrong person," Leo said, grinning. "You called your mother-in-law." "What?" "You told her you loved her. And when she asked if you'd made a mistake, you know what you said?" Evan shook his head, dreading the answer. "You said, 'It's okay, Auntie, I love you too.'" Evan buried his face in his hands. "Oh God, I'm never drinking again. Did I say anything else?" "I grabbed the phone and told her you were drunk." "Good." Evan immediately opened his phone and saw Claire's messages. I drank a little too much last night," he typed. "Forgot to send you a good night message." She replied instantly. "I know. My mom told me." "What did she say I said to her?" he asked, holding his breath. "I'm not asking," she replied. He quickly explained the whole day, the office setup, the meeting, the dinner, and how he ended up drinking the leftover beer so it wouldn't go to waste. "Okay, I get it," she typed. "You're not mad." "No. Really? Really? Then how about you send a picture to prove it?" "Get lost," she replied, but he could almost hear the smile in her words. "From now on," she added, "if you don't message me by 10, I'm just going to sleep." "Got it," he typed back. "Okay, I'm going for a walk with the girls. Talk to you later." "Okay, remember to miss me." She smiled at the message. She started to type back, "I won't," but then deleted it.